Bright, $14.97, now $21.97.
The increased tariffs on aluminum and steel will likely impact prices on things like appliances and canned foods and beverages. And speaking of that, Georgia breweries are trying to tackle the new 50% tariffs. The initial 25% tariffs were already a concern, but Joseph Cortez with the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild says these new increases could have serious impacts across the industry, ranging from
products to make beer, to produce beer, to package beer. This will be an added pressure.
Now, aluminum is needed for cans, while steel is essential for kegs in the manufacturing process. He says it's likely that many brewers will need to hike up prices to account for the increased supply cost. In addition to some haze across the metro Atlanta area from the Canadian wildfires, WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is watching what's happening today off the coast of Georgia.
This low is not going to have enough time to organize into an official tropical system, but it is going to push the clouds into metro Atlanta and eventually push some of the rain showers and thunderstorms into our area as well. So even though we have sunshine this morning, by lunchtime we will have mostly cloudy skies and dodging some off and on rain showers for the ride home later on today.
And the rain clears out tomorrow. Christina says watch for more strong storms to arrive in time for the weekend. We'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. A federal judge rules a now former Atlanta police officer acted in self-defense when he shot and killed an unarmed man while attempting to serve an arrest warrant back in 2019.
Sung Kim was working with federal agents to arrest 21-year-old Jimmy Atchison for allegedly robbing a woman at gunpoint. They tracked Atchison to an Atlanta apartment, eventually finding him hiding under a pile of clothes. Kim told Atchison not to move, but when he quickly raised his right arm, Kim says he shot the man out of fear for his life. He was charged with manslaughter, felony murder, and more, but a new ruling from U.S. District Judge Michael Brown calls Kim's actions, quote, textbook self-defense. All of his charges have been dropped. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, we are learning more this noon about what led to that high-speed chase through a half a dozen metro Atlanta districts before a traffic snarling crash on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard.
At around 10:35 a.m. June 3rd, DeKalb County Police responded to apartments in the 3500 block of Meadow Glen Village Lane on a report of discharging firearms. An occupied apartment had been hit by gunfire.
DeKalb County Police spokesman Blaine Clark says no one was hurt. The teens later stole an SUV in Brookhaven and led police on a chase in 2 crashes before finally being caught in Doraville. They face a list of charges, including aggravated assault. 19 people arrested in a 2-day shoplifting sting operation in and around the Mall of Georgia in Gwinnett County. Many of those busted juveniles.
A lot of individuals, especially during the summer, they're out of school. They think they can shoplift, or they're kind of bored. They probably think there's no consequences with that. There are. You will be detained. You will be apprehended, and you'll go to jail.
Corporal Juan Matieto says in all, officers obtained a total of 12 felony warrants, 27 misdemeanor warrants. During the operation, law enforcement recovering thousands of dollars in stolen merchandise. Local leaders in South Fulton are condemning the elimination of a federal job training program for at-risk youth.
Job Corps' goal is to provide career training for eligible young people between the ages of 16 and 24. But the Department of Labor has now cut the area's program and abandoned a large construction site for a new center. South Fulton City Councilwoman Helen Willis says the building is now an example of urban blight.
This is not just about South Fulton. This center was going to serve the region. We were going to have students as far as the state of Florida coming to this campus.
She's calling on the government to restore the program or transfer ownership of the property to the city. In South Fulton, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The Secretary of Defense ordering the U.S. Navy to rename several ships, including a vessel dedicated to slaying gay rights activist Harvey Milk. Milk was a veteran and the first openly gay person to be elected into office in California. The Defense Department saying this is part of a plan to follow the Commander-in-Chief's directives and reestablish what he calls a warrior culture of the U.S. military. Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson.
Now, the documents we looked at showed that the proposal to rename the Harvey Milk, to remove the name of Harvey Milk from that ship, Harvey Milk, a gay rights icon, could come as soon as this month, June, which is Pride Month. And defense officials tell us that that is intentional.
Other ships that could get a name change include the USS Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Harriet Tubman. Americans are putting away more for retirement. According to a Fidelity Investments analysis of the millions of accounts they manage, in general, it's recommended that people save about 12 to 15% of their pay each year, and Fidelity says most are just shy of that. Baby boomers putting away the most. The Dow currently up 14 points at 42,534. NASDAQ also in positive territory, so is the S&P. All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads this Wednesday afternoon?
Got us out a new travel advisory in Doraville. Some sort of debris cleanup. They got 2 left lanes coned off. 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaver Highway exit 32 already stacked up back to Chamblee Dunwoody Road. Think about taking 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. And you're recovering 285 northbound, the outer loop into Cab as well, leaving Glenwood Road, trouble pushed off to the right around or just north of Memorial Drive, exit 41, heading up into Clarkston. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Now your 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Increasing cloud cover through this afternoon. A few hit or miss rain showers through the late afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84. Mostly cloudy with a few rain showers tonight. Lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, the clouds and rain will move out with a high of 85, but thunderstorms return on Friday. Some of these storms may produce damaging wind gusts. Friday's high is 88. Saturday, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, high 86. Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy with pop-up showers and storms, high 83.
We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is away. Enter the keyword into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000, and the keyword is AWAY, away. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you want $1,000. The keyword is away. Good luck.
Greetings, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number 877-973-7425. Lots to run down on today's program. We've really got to begin with the Elon Musk blow up over Doge cuts and the big, not so beautiful bill. There's a story in the New York Times, and I knew this was going to happen. And if you'll let me nerd out for just a moment, because I need to explain the flow of news to you on this bill. It's now in the Senate, of course, but let me try to explain this to you as simply as I can. And there's something called regular order. It became the Bush administration into the Obama administration. Regular order began to collapse. Now, regular order in Congress is what you call how a bill becomes law. Remember the Schoolhouse Rock, how a bill becomes law. Someone writes a piece of legislation. That legislation is thrown into what's called the hopper. From the hopper, it is based on its subject matter referred to one or more committees in the United States House or Senate. Those committees then mark up the legislation and then unite together to consolidate their changes into one piece of legislation that then goes to the Rules Committee that sets the parameters by which the legislation can be debated and if it can get to the floor, and then it goes to the floor and it is debated further, it is amended further, it is voted on, it is then sent to the other house, whereby it follows the same process. And if that house comes back with the identical piece of legislation, and it is passed, it goes to the president. If they change it, it goes into what's called a conference committee, where both the House and the Senate get together, agree to changes. The legislation is sent back to the House and the Senate for an up or down vote, no more amendments. If approved, it goes to the president. He either signs it or vetoes it. If he vetoes it, it goes back to Congress for a 2/3 vote from both houses to override the veto. That's regular order. That's how a bill becomes a law. The law starts in one house or the other, goes through committee, goes to the floor, goes to the other house, goes through committee, goes to the floor. If passed, goes to the president. But the leadership in Congress started drafting multi-thousand-page pieces of legislation that were the product of behind-the-scenes negotiations. And regular order fell away. Regular order was the individuals write it. Now leadership writes the law, refers it to the committee of the leadership's choice, demands solidarity on their side, punishes members who refuse to show solidarity, gets it passed, and it goes to the other house where the same thing happens. Leadership grabs hold of it, changes as they want, and forces it through. John Thune is the new Senate leader, and John Thune is opposed to leadership order. He wants regular order. He wants to go through the real process. John Thune believes, and by the way, there's a lot of logic here, that the tempers within Congress could be toned down if regular order were implemented by both houses of Congress now. The problem is with the House, regular order's slow. And they didn't like regular order, and it was a messy process. And so what happened is the House leadership drafted this, what they called Big Beautiful Bill Act. Or actually, I think the technical name is One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The Senate already told President Trump they should do it in 2 steps, not 1. The House said, no, just 1, and the House dictated it. And the House leadership had meetings with the quote-unquote stakeholders who all gave the House leadership their demands. The House then added stuff into the legislation while negotiating, got the general parameters right, and in the process, favored powerful members of the House got to slip stuff into the legislation. And because it did not go through regular order, people in the House didn't know all the provisions. Because what happened? They didn't reveal the text until the very end, right before the vote. And contrary to the rules of the House, they did not give 72 hours for people to examine the legislation. They waived the rule and rammed it through, and now there is regret. This is from the New York Times. When Republicans muscled their sweeping domestic policy bill through the House by a single vote after an overnight debate, they breathed a sigh of relief, celebrated a celebratory moment at sunrise, and retreated to their districts for a week-long recess. Not even 2 weeks later, the victory has, for some, given way to regret. It turns out that the sprawling legislation to advance tax and spending cuts and to cement much of President Trump's domestic agenda included a raft of provisions that drew little notice or debate on the House floor. And now, Republicans who rallied behind the bill are claiming buyer's remorse about measures they swear they did not know were included. Last week, Representative Mike Flood of Nebraska admitted during a town hall meeting in his district he did not know that the bill would limit judges' power to hold people in contempt for violating court orders. He would not have voted for the measure, he said, had he known. And as lawmakers returned to Washington on Tuesday after their week-long break, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said she had been unaware the mega bill she voted for would block states from regulating artificial intelligence for a decade. Full transparency, I did not know about the section she posted on social media, calling it a violation of states' rights, and added she wouldn't have voted no had I known this was in there. The remorseful statements highlighted the reality of legislation in the modern age. Members of Congress, bitterly divided along partisan lines and often working against self-imposed political deadlines, have become accustomed to having their leaders throw together huge pieces of legislation at the very last moment, and often do not read the entirety of the bill they are voting on, if they read any of it at all. At the same time, the polarization of Congress means that fewer pieces of legislation make it to the floor or to enactment, and the few must-pass bills that do are almost always stuffed full of unrelated policy measures that would otherwise have little hope of passing on their own. In the case of the 1,037-page bill the GOP is calling the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, Republicans barely cobbled together the votes to pass it after a protracted fight within their ranks and significant pressure from Mr. Trump to advance some of his top domestic priorities. As a number of disparate factions threatened to withhold their support, the focus remained on the key agenda items: extend the tax cuts, boost defense and immigration spending, and roll back climate initiatives. Now that it's in the Senate, they're realizing there were lots of things in the legislation they didn't know were there. That's what happens when you don't have regular order. That's what Senator Thune is trying to undo in the Senate, trying to get both houses to go back to regular order. It's what conservatives have long said they wanted. In fact, conservatives have long said they are not going to get everything they want if we go back to regular order, but it's a preferable process because there's more transparency. But it takes longer to do things. And now Elon Musk comes out and says it's a massive, outrageous, pork-filled, disgusting abomination. So the White House is now out quietly and slightly politely attacking Elon Musk. They're not hyper attack. They're just pointing out they're trying to rationalize away why Elon Musk criticized the plan. So here are the things that the White House says caused Elon Musk to describe the bill as a disgusting abomination. One is that the legislation will get rid of the tax credit for electric vehicles. Now, you should know that the tax break for electric vehicles was one of the very first things the Republicans got rid of, and Elon Musk at the time said he was okay with it. He did not need government subsidy for Tesla. Other electric car companies needed government subsidy, and Elon Musk at the time said that getting rid of the EV tax credit was actually good for Tesla because it would encourage more people to buy Tesla than Rivian or other electric vehicles. But the White House says he's mad about that he's also mad because he wanted to extend his stay in Washington as a special government employee, and Donald Trump wouldn't let him. Now, you should know that would require a change in the law. Donald Trump could not unilaterally do it, and Congress had no desire to change the law. So you've got two excuses from the White House that actually don't hold up under basic scrutiny. The third is that the FAA rejected using Starlink, which they did do. Elon Musk wanted the FAA to use Starlink. Sean Duffy turned him down, the Secretary of Transportation. You should know that Elon Musk ruffled feathers with Sean Duffy, trying to lord it over the Secretary of Transportation. And Elon Musk's pick to serve as the head of NASA was on his way to a Senate vote. He had made it out of committee. He was going to be confirmed by a bipartisan majority of the Senate. And Donald Trump, at the very last minute, pulled his nomination despite being assured he would get the votes because he found out the guy was a Democratic donor. But these four reasons are why the White House says Musk has turned on the bill. Behind the scenes, Mike Johnson is telling his colleagues Trump is, quote unquote, pissed off at Elon Musk for his comments about the bill, trying to sabotage the effort. Republicans, however, don't want a war with Elon Musk. Elon Musk committed $100 million to their 2026 campaign. I don't think they're going to get the $100 million now. I want you to just think about the geniuses here. So Elon Musk was committing $100 million to the GOP. Leonard Leo, the head of the Federalist Society, or former head of the Federalist Society, has $1 billion to play with. And Donald Trump and the GOP have just burned bridges with both gentlemen. That's right. Leonard Leo has over $1 billion. Elon Musk committed $100 million. And the grifters in the GOP convinced Donald Trump to sabotage relationships with both men. Donald Trump was convinced on both counts. In fact, you know, on the Leonard Leo count, which we'll get to later, you know what the grifters told Donald Trump? Leonard Leo's Federalist Society didn't spend any money to try to help in 2020 overturn the election. That's not how the Federalist Society operates. It's never been how the Federalist Society operates. Individual Federalist Society members gave their time to help the president. The society itself doesn't spend money like that, never has, never will, and is not set up to do so. But the grifters convinced Donald Trump, and you know what the grifters have done now? The grifters have pretty much alienated themselves from a man who could spend $1 billion to help the GOP. Well played. They've now burned bridges with Elon Musk, who has $100 million he was going to give them. I suspect the money's not forthcoming now. He's called the legislation a disgusting abomination, and the White House response was to attack Elon Musk. So what happens when you put the Island of Misfit Toys in charge? But there's another reality here, too. Here's the other reality. If the legislation doesn't pass, we all get a massive tax hike. The only people who come out on top are the millionaires and billionaires from blue states, and even they will have to deal with the alternative minimum tax. That's right. If this legislation doesn't pass, we all get a tax hike. So Elon Musk is right. The big, beautiful bill, it's a disgusting abomination. It's probably going to raise the deficit and raise the debt. It's not actually going to do what it claims to do, but if we don't pass it, we all get a massive tax hike. That's the reality of the sausage being made, the way it's being made. There are trade-offs. The Republicans have a 3-seat majority in the House of Representatives. There are trade-offs that had to happen. Those trade-offs are required to get the bill passed. And the blue state Republicans held everybody hostage for an extension of a massive increase in the SALT deduction, the state and local tax deduction. And if the Republicans didn't give them their SALT deduction, they would kill the bill and we would all get a tax hike, and their major donors would actually get a big tax break none of us would get. This is the sausage being made in a narrow House majority. Elon Musk is absolutely right. It's not a great bill. It's got problems. The Senate can fix those problems. You know, I was originally aligned with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but the more I think about it, I don't know that we want 50 states individually regulating AI, which is a brand new technology. It's probably not good, and California would rule the roost and dominate everybody else, and California would be most regressive. So it probably actually does work to have the U.S. Government be the one in charge of AI regulation, for better or worse. Normally, I would say go with the 50 laboratories of democracy, but with something this new that people are scared of, it probably would kill the technology, and China would rule the roost. But the reality here is that this legislation is a product of compromises to get something done in a 3-seat majority, so it's not a good bill, but it's better than a massive tax increase, which we will get if the bill doesn't pass.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory out of Dunwoody into Doraville. Median wall repair, 285 eastbound. The inner loop Beaufort Highway exit 32. 2 left lanes are blocked. Go ahead and think about 400 southbound to I-85 northbound as an alternate there. Right lane crash in Coweta County, 85 northbound just before Collinsworth Road. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is away. Enter the keyword into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000, and the keyword is AWAY, away. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you want $1,000. The keyword is away. Good luck.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year. And last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. When we're talking about our health, don't be shy. Level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often to spot problems while we still have options to deal with them. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their LDCT body scan for only $995 per scan, a $2,495 value. Appointments must be scheduled in June, and there are a limited number of scans available at this price, so a few minimum requirements may apply. I'm living proof that preventive medicine can save lives. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from Virtual Imaging. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now. Schedule your Virtual Imaging LDCT body scan for only $995 during the month of June. while you still have options.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there, welcome. Phone number 877-973-7425 should you want to be on the program. We've got a couple of tickets left to the Not Safe for Radio show. I'll be on stage telling all the stories. I can't tell it's on radio. It's July 12th. Doors open at 6. Event starts at 7. It's at the Fox Theater on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. If you want to come, tickets are on sale now. All proceeds go to charity. I don't pocket anything from this. You can text the word ENGAGE to 33777. If you want tickets, I'll send you a link to the Fox Theater. Text the word ENGAGE to 33777. If you need a hotel, the Georgian Terrace is right across the street from the hotel. I had to reconsider something I'd written first thing this morning. I had first thought, allow the 50 states as laboratories of democracy to figure out AI themselves. And the more I started thinking about it, and then I had friends chime in with me. I think they're right and I was wrong. Never say I don't correct myself or change my mind. AI is a new technology. The Chinese are leveraging AI. If we allow the 50 states to regulate it individually, that's going to be a hodgepodge of regulation. California is going to dominate the regulations in a regressive way that stifles innovation and opportunity. So there's a provision in this bill, tax reconciliation package, that would prohibit states from regulating AI for 10 years. And I actually think that's a good idea. The more I think about it, because otherwise the states are going to cause regression, not progress, and stifle innovation. And I think we need to be as innovative as possible, which we can't do if we have 50 different regulatory standards as opposed to one national standard. Now, I want you nationwide to go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, and you can get 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms for save $200, get them for less than $200. They're air purifiers. So they get rid of dust, they get rid of pollen, they get rid of smoke. They also get rid of bacteria and viruses, and they eliminate all odors. You can hold this thing in your hand. You can plug it up with a USB cord in a car if it has a USB outlet, or even a laptop. You can plug it directly into the wall, and it's powerful. It generates ozone and wipes out every odor. I don't actually use these things for the dust and the pollen. I use it for odor elimination. If you've ever been in a car where someone smoked or a hotel room, this thing wipes out those odors, gets the air smelling good as new. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. You get 3 of them. So you have one for your RV or your travel bag, your kitchen, your living room, your basement, your attic, wherever you need them. You can hold it in your hand. It just works. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3.
the news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. This is new and just in time for lunch. A public health alert for organic ground beef products. According to the Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, the products could reportedly be contaminated with E. coli, and this applies to some organic rancher products distributed to Whole Food Market locations all across the nation, including in Georgia. And now, while there was no recall request or report of illnesses, food safety officials are worried that consumers could still have some of the ground beef in their refrigerators or freezers. The impacted ground beef, which has the use-by date or freeze-by dates of June 19th to June 20th of this year, are on the packaging, and they should not be consumed. All right, your weather for today: increasing clouds, rain this afternoon and evening, afternoon highs around 84. This is new this afternoon. The FBI has arrested a suspect now in last month's car bombing at a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. Daniel Park of Kent, Washington, arrested at New York's JFK Airport. It's not clear what charges he's going to be facing or what his role was in the bombing. Investigators believe the car bomber died in that explosion. They say that Park may have provided materials to support the bombing. At least 11 people dead, more than 30 injured in a stampede outside a cricket stadium in southern India today. And the much higher tariffs are now in effect on aluminum and steel, but Karen Travers at the White House says the Trump administration is still open to negotiations.
The administration continues to negotiate trade deals, and they're saying to trade partners all around the world, give us your best offer. We are 35 days out from the end of that 90-day pause, and the president told me himself, at the end of that, if trade deals are not reached with those countries, the tariffs will go into effect.
As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is currently down 8 at 42,511. NASDAQ is up slightly, so is the S&P. It's 12:32.
Mosquito bites are the worst, but beyond the bite, mosquitoes are disgusting little germ factories that sometimes carry viruses. Dave Baker here for Breda Pest Management. It's time to quit your itching, be the superhero for your family, and eliminate mosquito-borne viruses in your yard with one call to Breda. If mosquitoes return within 30 days, only Breda will come back and retreat for free. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs. When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
Count on us, Jape Services.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Travel advisory in Dorville. Median wall repair blocks 2 left lanes, 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaver Highway exit 32. Take 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. And seeing the rain impacting the ride, raining pretty good in Conyers on I-20. Use caution out there right around Highway 138. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover and a few off and on rain showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Erickson Show.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program? I was kind of stunned a little while ago. Hang on, I got to pull this up and read this to you. I got a news alert from the New York Times. Here this is the push alert on my phone from the New York Times. President Trump says he's stamping out anti-Semitism, but he has an extensive history of amplifying white supremacist figures and symbols. Now, this comes 24 hours after Maria Cardona on CNN made the same point, that Donald Trump hung out with Proud Boys and Nick Fuentes and escalated anti-Semitism in the country. These people simply do not want to deal with what is happening on the left. They simply do not want to deal with the insanity that is coming from the progressive movement. USA Today has a story. Let me read you the tweet. Boulder suspect's daughter dreamed of studying medicine. Now she faces deportation. What about the Holocaust survivor who was burned alive in Boulder, Colorado? She moved to the United States with a dream of studying medicine to transform lives. Then her father was charged with attempting to take them in connection with the fiery assault on pro-Jewish protesters in Boulder, Colorado. Now Habiba Soliman, daughter of Boulder attack suspect Mohammed Sabri Soliman, faces deportation along with the rest of her family. The family, originally from Egypt, moved to the U.S. from Kuwait. Habiba Soliman recently graduated from high school, but her aspirations were upended when her 45-year-old father was charged with a federal hate crime and 16 counts of attempted murder related to the attack that left a dozen people burned, including an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. 2 remain hospitalized. Her life had been headed in a positive direction before the attack on the weekly demonstration in support of Israeli hostages held in Gaza, which came 3 days after her high school graduation. A federal affidavit says the elder Soliman told investigators he planned the attack for a year and waited for his daughter to graduate before carrying out the plot. Prior to the attack, Habiba Soliman had written about her hope of accomplishing great things in the United States. Well, I guess she's not going to be able to heckle Jewish students on a college campus now. This is absurd. They're doing a sympathetic, fawning profile of the daughter of the anti-Semitic terrorist. They haven't done a single profile of any of the victims of the attack, including the Holocaust survivor. They haven't done any, and yet we're supposed to get this sob story about the Boulder suspect's daughter dreamed of studying medicine. Now she faces deportation. She wasn't in the country legally. They leave that out, by the way, buried all the way in the end of the story. She wasn't an American citizen. Her father had overstayed his visa. They got no special permissions for the rest of the family. Of course, they were going to go. Not once do they actually mention the entirety, the fact that this was an illegal alien. By the way, you need to know that this guy, Michael Loria, Michael Loria had his journalism funded by Report for America, a group that plants left-wing activists in newsrooms and is funded by left-wing foundations, including, likely, the Soros Foundation, though it's anonymous. We don't know, but this seems like something they would support. That's right. So this guy, Michael Loria, never mentions the families here illegally, and he is a reporter whose journalism career had been subsidized by a left-wing activist group. And this is USA Today. Now, hang on, that's USA Today. Allow me to go to ABC News. Colorado attack comes amid record incidents of anti-Semitic and Islamophobic hate crimes. That's right. Islamophobic hate crimes. Now, let's see. Where are the Islamophobic hate crimes? Very down, very down, very down. Down, 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 all the way down. Let's see. No. Lots of anti-Semitic attacks. Oh, here we go. Just a few paragraphs from the end. Islamophobic attacks have also been on the rise, according to a report issued in March by the Council on American Islamic Relations, the nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy center. CARE estimates it received more than 8,650 complaints, the highest it's ever gotten. Among the high-profile anti-Muslim incidents reported over the last 2 years was a fatal October 14, 2023 stabbing of 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy Wadia al-Fayoumi by his Illinois landlord, 73-year-old Joseph Suba, who prosecutors said killed the child and attacked his mother in response to the Israel-Hamas war. On November 25th, 2023, 3 college students of Palestinian descent were shot, including one who was paralyzed in Burlington, Vermont, where they were allegedly targeted by Jason Eaton, a former Boy Scout leader, as the students who were visiting the city during Thanksgiving were walking in his neighborhood, speaking a mix of Arabic and English. 2 of the students were wearing keffiyehs, traditional Palestinian scarves. Eaton has pled not guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder. So, wow, that's wild. So there are 2 in 2023. There are 2 attacks in 2023 related to supposed Islamophobia. One specifically related to the Hamas invasion of Israel. So they've got 2 attacks from 2023 to show as proof that Islamophobia is on the rise, along with anti-Semitism. They've got lots of stories in this piece from just this year of anti-Semitism. Got to go all the way back to 2023 so that ABC News cannot do the rise of anti-Semitism. It's Islamophobia too, guys. It's Islamophobia. Meanwhile, the Washington Post is having to walk back a story that was written by a former Al Jazeera reporter who made awkward anti-Semitic comments in the newsroom a while back. The Washington Post originally, I read this to you the other day. Here's the tweet. At least 31 people were killed Sunday morning in southern Gaza, according to the Strip's health ministry, when Israeli troops opened fire on crowds making their way to collect aid. That was what the Washington Post ran. Now, let me read you the correction. We've deleted the post below because it and early versions of the article didn't meet post fairness standards. The background. Early versions of the article on Sunday stated that Israeli troops had killed more than 30 people near a U.S. aid site in Gaza, with the headline attributing the action to health officials. The article failed to make clear it attributing the deaths to Israelis was the position of the Gaza Health Ministry or a fact verified by the Post. The article and headline were updated on Sunday evening, making it clear there was no consensus about who was responsible for the shootings and that there was a dispute over the question. While statements from Israel that it was unaware of injuries and that an initial inquiry indicated the soldiers didn't fire at citizens near the site were included in all versions, the Post didn't give proper weight to Israel's denial and gave improper certitude about what was known about any Israeli role in the shooting. The early versions fell short of Post standards of fairness and should not have been published in that form. There's been no accountability. There's been no apology. There's been no firing of any of the reporters or editors who participated in the story. It's just one more oopsie. We got it wrong. And how much did that incite people to violence? How much did CNN and the New York Times and the Washington Post and the BBC and other outlets incite people to violence? That Israel were gunning down people seeking help. That was the original story. That people were being gunned down by Israel. By the way, the BBC as well has had to completely retract and walk back the story. The BBC in Great Britain reported the same thing, putting all the blame on the Israelis, and even the BBC has come out and said, it doesn't appear the Israelis were responsible. We regret the error. Funny how quickly they were willing to embrace Hamas propaganda. ABC News decides to run a story to both sides, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and has to go all the way back to 2023 and find 2 incidents of Palestinian supporters being killed in this country to justify the both sidesism. USA Today decides to run a fawning, sympathetic profile of a terrorist's daughter, and never does a profile of the victims that her father attempted to kill. And never says she's an illegal alien. By the way, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other outlets are also now, they're walking away from migrant, and they're using unauthorized immigrant now. They're not saying illegal, they're saying unauthorized. They're trying to accommodate without being accommodating. Unauthorized. The press is collaborating with the left in this stuff. They can't avoid the stories. It's how they cover the stories. They can't avoid the stories. It's how they shape the stories. They can't avoid the stories, but they're trying to draw you to conclusions. The USA Today story, again, written by a man whose journalism career had been subsidized by progressive activist networks, now embedded at USA Today, writes a sob story about a terrorist daughter and never bothers to write a story about the victims. Never bothers to recognize that the girl was here illegally to begin with. American journalists have completely abandoned any sense of propriety. Now, I know you know this. I'm preaching to the crowd here. The problem here is this: a free society really does need a free press. A free society works better with the free press. Areas of this country, small town America, that is free of corruption. You know why so many small towns in America are free of corruption? Because they have small town newspapers who engage, who ask questions, who probe. The areas of the country where corruption and government officials is on the rise are areas where local media outlets have collapsed. They don't have the resources to investigate, to file Freedom of Information Act requests. We need a free press. A free press is good for a free people. It breeds out corruption. It gets rid of corruption. The problem is the National Press Corps isn't free. The National Press Corps is held hostage to its hatred of people on the right and its hatred of Jews. The National Press Corps is captive to the prejudices of the left, and that's not a free press. And this is why we can't have nice things. It's sad to see. It is reality. Hillsdale College actually has a class on the need for a free press in this country and what it means to be free and to be critical thinkers and how to get through propaganda. You can take this and one of other 40 classes completely free. All you have to do is go to the website ericforhillsdale.com today. You sign up at ericforhillsdale.com. You can take any one of their great classes for free. Click the catalog button at the top of the site, the catalog link, and it'll show you the classes. The courses range from history to philosophy to religion to literature to politics to economics, fine arts, mathematics, and natural sciences. You can take a class on citizenship or the rise and fall of the Roman Republic or ancient Christianity or the Second World War or Winston Churchill or Theology 101, Western theological traditions, a proper understanding of K through 12 education in theory and practice, the Exodus story, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, classic children's literature, a study on C.S. Lewis, his writings and significance, totalitarian novels, something on the Federalist Papers, American foreign policy, the real American founding, a class on the American left from liberalism to despotism, an introduction to the Constitution. All these classes are available at Hillsdale College with their fantastic faculty. You can even take a class on supply-side economics with Art Lafler, who came up with the Laffer curve. All you got to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up, you take the class, you'll get a certificate of completion from Hillsdale College. You'll never pay a penny. Each class is broken down into lessons of varying length. They're video lectures. You do it at your own pace. For example, the class on understanding capitalism is 7 lessons. It lasts a total of 4 hours. Do it at your own pace. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1251, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Median wall repair continues in Doorville, 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaver Highway exit 32. You're slow back to Chamblee Dunwoody. Travel advisory in Coweta County. Crash, it's in a couple of right lanes. It's a rollover crash, 85 northbound before Collinsworth Road, exit 56. Use Highway 29. And you get the right lane construction in the cab, 20 east before Panola Road. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Listening to 95.5 WSB pays.
No way!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
That is awesome.
5 chances a day to win $5,000.
Download the WSB app. Your next chance to win is coming up at 2 p.m.
Oh my God.
From 95.5 WSB.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today, we're talking with the experts about Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows, Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows.
Jonathan, tell me, how is North Georgia Replacement Windows different than a typical window or door replacement company?
We're a licensed general contractor with a skill set that goes way beyond typical window and door replacement. For example, if you'd like to add a window or door where there is not one, or if you'd like to expand your opening, we can handle those projects. We also work with designers, remodelers, and home builders.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Ted, tell us about some of the projects you've completed lately.
We just did some bifold doors in Milton that enlarged the opening and brought the indoor and outdoor living spaces together, which will be perfect for entertaining. We've also expanded window openings for bigger views and more daylight, like our customer in Atlanta overlooking the Chattahoochee River.
Nice. Now, are there certain things that homeowners need to be aware of when considering a bigger project like this?
It's important to make sure the company you choose is qualified to perform your projects. Know their skills by checking references on similar projects. Also, get familiar with their qualifications. Structural work and modifications may require permitting and sometimes an engineer's involvement.
Jonathan, tell us about the process for a homeowner to get started. Like, do you offer design or consulting services?
We make window shopping simple. Homeowners can give us a call or visit our website to schedule their free consultation. Your design consultant will go over your project in detail and make recommendations, providing you with a stress-free experience that includes a quick, accurate proposal without pressure or pricing games.
And right now, it's time to jump into June savings at North Georgia Replacement Windows. You'll get 15% off your project, plus 36 months no interest with equal payments. Visit the new amazing showroom in Alpharetta and be sure to visit us online at ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Going back to college, I have sent my father Omaha steaks for Father's Day because who doesn't love steak? Dads love steak. A recent survey showed 75% of Americans agree there's no better way than to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. Dads love to grill. I remember some great memories as a kid of my dad grilling. Now I do. and I get him Omaha Steaks, and you can too. Shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off when you put Eric in, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. Unbelievable quality from Omaha Steaks. I am a longtime gift giver of Omaha Steaks. My dad loves Omaha Steaks. Your dad will too. Go to omahasteaks.com, load up your cart with deliciousness, get $35 off, minimum order required, when you use promo code ERIC at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. You'll get an extra $35 off with promo code ERIC at checkout. Your dad will love you for it.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. All the best to my buddy Leland Vittert at News Nation. He and his fiance are headed to their wedding location. He was texting me during commercial break and asking if I had any premarital advice. I said, yes. Remember, the moment the ring is on your finger, you are always wrong, even when you're right. I got to say something. I got to praise my wife, and I need to do so publicly here. My wife and kids, I did not mean for this to be a birthday present. There's a store near me called Authentique, and it a lot of outdoor furniture, and I need new rocking chairs for my front porch when the guys come over for Bourbon Cigars on Sunday. And I was looking, and I found some very nice rocking chairs. They're teak, and I was like, I'm gonna flag this for later. It was not my intention for this to be a birthday present, but my kid got into my phone, grabbed the picture, sent it to my wife while I wasn't paying attention, and even deleted the evidence, apparently, that the picture had been forwarded, so I wouldn't know. And they ordered me these rocking chairs from this Authentique place, and my wife, when I got home from work yesterday, was in the yard finishing putting them together, so I wouldn't have to put them together because they probably would never get put together, and certainly when put together would be wobbly and not good. My wife got them all put together, and now I've got 4 new rocking chairs for my front porch, and yes, I think that technically classifies as a middle-aged present, but I was delighted to have such a present. 4 great rocking chairs. They took me out last night for pizza to my favorite pizza place, and then we had cake. It was triple layer yellow cake with chocolate icing. It was fantastic. Deliciousness. I appreciate my family, and I love my wife dearly, particularly for putting those rocking chairs together so I didn't have to. It was a great birthday. Thank you all for the great birthday wishes. This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan, wherever you are nationwide. If you are in the business of business, your business is looking to grow, reach out to First Liberty, firstlibertyga.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Tell them I sent you, see if they can help you. When we come back, Citibank has officially changed its policy. You will no longer be debanked at Citibank for trying to buy a gun with your debit card or with funds from your account. You will no longer be debanked for being a Second Amendment advocate. That you were to begin with is the problem. It's one reason I like Old Glory Bank, which we'll get to later. But the left is now saying this is in response to the Trump administration. Actually, what this is in response to is a return to normal politics and normalcy that the left abhors, but now they can't bully these corporations. We'll get into this.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So why real estate?
We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week.
Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today.
You can buy a quality rental property today.
And build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly.
These are my favorite markets for cash flow.
And build wealth long term.
The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
Oh my God. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances a day to win $5,000.
It's the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is coming up at 2 p.m.
Oh, that's cool.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Window Nation. Georgia breweries are gearing up for the impact of those new 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports.
The initial 25% tariffs were already a concern, but Joseph Cortez with the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild says the newly implemented increases could have serious impacts across the industry, ranging from
products to make beer, to produce beer, to package beer. This will be an added pressure.
Aluminum's needed for cans, while steel is essential for kegs in the manufacturing process. He says it's likely many breweries will need to up their prices to account for the increased supply costs. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your weather for today. Increasing clouds this afternoon. A few rain showers throughout the late afternoon hours and evenings, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Your highs around 84 today. 19 people arrested in a 2-day shoplifting sting operation in Gwinnett County. This was around the Mall of Georgia, and at the Mall of Georgia, many of those busted were juveniles.
A lot of individuals, especially during the summer, they're out of school. They think they can shoplift, or they're kind of bored. They probably think there's no consequences with that. There are. You will be detained. You will be apprehended, and you'll go to jail.
That is Corporal Juan Matieto with Gwinnett Police. In all, officers obtained a total of 12 felony warrants, 27 misdemeanor warrants during the operation. In addition, 24 outstanding warrants from other metro area law enforcement agencies were cleared in this operation. Law enforcement recovering thousands of dollars in stolen items. Leaders in South Fulton are condemning the elimination of a job training program for at-risk youth.
The Labor Department says Job Corps programs are being eliminated because they are no longer achieving their goals, which are to provide job training for eligible youth ages 16 to 24. Councilwoman Helen Willis pushes back.
We are standing here and we are saying loud and clear, President Trump administration, if you want to make America great again, restore the funding to the Job Corps.
A massive construction site for a new Job Corps facility now sits abandoned, and Willis wants the government to fix it or transfer it to the city. In South Fulton, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Looks like more people are saving for retirement, according to a Fidelity Investments analysis of millions of accounts that they manage. In general, it's recommended that people save about 12 to 15% of your pay each year, and Fidelity says most of their clients are doing that, just shy of that number. And baby boomers putting away the most, just over 17% on average, while Generation X and millennials are putting away just over 13 to 15%. It's 102.
It's Eric. I don't know about y'all, but life happens in our kitchen. It's where we have our memories, our family time, our laughs. Well, you don't want a lot of downtime, but you may want to renovate your kitchen. You want one of those $1 million kitchen looks and get it at the fraction of the cost with Frugal Kitchens. They know that you've got plans for your kitchen, and they want to help you. And here's why I love them. They can have you cooking in 5 days from the start of construction and get you 18 months no-interest financing. FrugalKitchens.com. That's where you want to check them out, FrugalKitchens.com.
For many women in our community, support for our physical and mental health feels out of reach.
When your workday is long.
And your budget is tight.
And your village is busy.
And the road between home and help is a 6-lane highway with no crosswalk.
Northside Hospital believes women deserve better.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
We got your house call.
Heard.
Learn more at northside.com/heard.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Check out this amazing deal on Kellogg's cereal. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Still keeping an eye on the rain creeping in from the southeast into metro Atlanta. We'll see the impact on the roads here soon. Travel advisory continues in Doraville with the median wall repair. 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaufort Highway, exit 32. You're slow back to Chamblee Dunwoody. If you'd like, you can take 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. In downtown, a little sluggish. 75, 85 southbound from right around 17th Street as you head down toward North Avenue. A few northbound delays. Just tapping the brake pedal, 75, 85 north from I-20 up toward Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover today with off and on rain showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, rain and cloud cover moving out. Tomorrow's high 85. Watching for heavy rain and thunderstorms on Friday with a high of 88.
And right now in Duluth, it's 79 degrees, 80 degrees in Brazelton, 78 right now in Sandy Springs. If you're making plans for the weekend, WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says, beware, the rain and thunderstorms are returning for your weekend. All right, we'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome across the fruited plain. It is Eric Erickson here. I am delighted to have you. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, everything you need. We need to talk about what Citibank has done. Citigroup, Citibank, Citi whatever. Citigroup has announced that it is no longer going to debank Second Amendment advocates. Some of you thought it was a conspiracy theory. It was never a conspiracy theory. It was always something real. This is from the Free Press. Citi announces it will prohibit debanking based on political affiliation. The Free Press had been investigating this story for some time. This is from Citigroup. We will update our employee code of conduct and our customer-facing global financial access policy to clearly state that we do not discriminate on the basis of political affiliation in the same way we are clear that we do not discriminate on the basis of other traits, such as race and religion. This will codify what we've long practiced. We also will no longer have a specific policy as it relates to firearms. Our U.S. commercial firearms policy was implemented in 2018 and pertained to sale of firearms by our retail clients and partners. The policy was intended to promote the adoption of best sales practices and prudent risk management and didn't address the manufacturing of firearms. Many retailers have been following these best practices, and we hope communities and lawmakers will continue to seek out ways to prevent the tragic consequences of gun violence. That is from Citigroup. What they're essentially admitting in changing these things is that Citigroup, Citibank, was debanking people who were Second Amendment advocates. This is from Rupa Subramanya at the Free Press from October of 2024. On February 6, 2019, Chris Abdurrahman Balvelt, the founder of the crowdfunding platform LaunchGood, received an email from payment processor Stripe. We are glad to have worked alongside LaunchGood as you have grown through the years. Nicole Arbordelletta, a sales leader in Stripe's platform, said in an email. However, with that growth has come additional scrutiny of our financial partners, as you are aware. Over the last year, our risk and financial crimes team have worked on behalf of our ability to remediate these issues. However, due to the continued use of workarounds that are not supported by our financial partners, we unfortunately can no longer support your organization. They were shut down because they were a Muslim charity providing aid to the Middle East. It wasn't just him. Other institutions and individuals themselves had problems. Former First Lady Melania Trump alleges in her memoir that both she and her son Barron were debanked. She says, I was shocked and dismayed to learn that my longtime bank decided to terminate my account and deny my son the opportunity to open a new one. Trump's email provider also declined to continue providing her service. The president himself was shut out of a Florida bank account after the January 6th storming of the Capitol. It wasn't just Trump supporters. I know gun manufacturers whose banks have closed them down. Literally, I know a gun store that got a certified letter in the mail with a certified check from the bank saying these are the proceeds of your account. We will no longer do business with you. And they had to scramble because payday was coming up at the end of that week. They had to scramble to find a new bank to deposit the money, get the money approved, and get their new bank account set up to be able to meet payroll. The bank gave them no justification, but it was very clear from talking to people at the bank that it actually was because the bank did not want to do business with a gun store. Debanking has become a trend. And by the way, it's not something that is a both sides thing. This is on the right. It's on the left targeting the right. It's left-wing activists buying shares in major corporations targeting the right. But it's become a problem such that even Democrats are concerned because it's also, for example, Muslim charities that have helped people in Gaza. They've seen themselves shut down. So Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, they're all upset about some of the rulings J.P. Morgan Chase and Company have done towards left-wing nonprofits, particularly, in their words, the Muslim American community. It goes both ways, but it primarily targets people on the right, by people on the left, by banks on the left. But it's not just banks. Other companies do it as well. So let me give you a Citibank example. We have a listener in our audience. I have verified the story myself. This is a true story. Several years ago, the son of this listener worked as a major executive at Citi Corporation. He chose not to attend a Pride event during the month of June. It was not a mandatory event. He chose not to attend it. It wasn't mandatory. Someone in the company noticed he did not attend the event and asked him why he did not go to the event. He said in private conversation to the individual that he was an evangelical Christian. He did not wish to show his support for Pride Month. Despite saying it in private to a manager, what he said made it through the company, and HR told him basically his time at the company was coming to an end. He could stay where he was, but there would be no more advancement for him at Citigroup. People complained they felt threatened by him. To avoid a lawsuit, they wound up paying him a large severance package. He no longer works at Citigroup. It was a not required event. It was not mandatory. He did not go. It was reported to higher ups. He's no longer there. The left is upset, and what the left is saying is that this is all an overcorrection. This is an overcorrection because Donald Trump's person. No, it's not an overcorrection. It's just a correction back to the norm. It used to be that you and I could do business in this country, work with businesses in this country, have jobs at businesses in this country, and our politics didn't matter. But it was the left that decided that you will be made to care. It was the left that decided your politics did matter. It was the left that decided if you don't believe the right things and say the right things and participate the right way and live your life the certain way, you will be punished. And what left-wing activists did is they bought shares in corporations and they used their clout within corporations to steer those corporations to shut down the business of gun manufacturers and gun merchants. And some banks have refused to even allow you to use your debit card to purchase a gun. They've targeted Donald Trump. They've targeted Melania Trump. They've targeted Barron Trump. They've targeted conservatives around the country. I know more than one conservative who has been targeted by a bank or other business. And then there's the full rush, the shakedown from the left to fund Pride Month and Pride events. And many corporations have decided, you know what, they're tapping out now. They're done. They're not going to participate the way the left has insisted they participate. They're done. And who can blame them? You don't want to participate in the Pride event. You don't want to give money to the Human Rights Campaign. For a long time, these groups had the clout with the President of the United States and others on their side to boycott. And you know, what's so interesting now is that you've got all these media outlets saying, oh my gosh, Donald Trump is shaking down law firms. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump is intimidating businesses. Oh my gosh, these businesses are getting rid of DEI because they're scared of Donald Trump. They put those positions in place at first because they were scared of Obama and Biden. All Donald Trump is doing is saying, you don't have to be scared anymore. You can get rid of this stuff. The Navy is changing the name of a ship named for gay rights icon Harvey Milk, who was assassinated in San Francisco. The Navy decided to, now full disclosure, Milk was in the Navy, but do you know anything about Milk? He's a gay rights icon. This is the sort of man who's been elevated to icon status by the progressives. Harvey Milk lured and encouraged black people to go to Jonestown, where they were murdered. That's right. The Reverend Jim Jones of Flavor Aid Town, Kool-Aid Town, who committed mass murder at his cult. Harvey Milk was a recruiter for him. Harvey Milk also sexually abused a young man who committed suicide. Those are facts. You can be offended by the facts. But because he became a gay rights icon after being gunned down, the Navy decided it needed to name a ship after him. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, any naval vessel named after Ruth Bader Ginsburg is going to stay commissioned long after it should have been decommissioned and ultimately sink. There's no reason to do this. But they did because they had to bow to the left. The Navy, the military bowed to the left. So they named a ship after a man who got a bunch of people killed at Jonestown and caused another person to commit suicide. And the left was totally fine celebrating that guy because of his sexual proclivities. They got Citibank and other major institutional financial institutions to debank gun stores, gun manufacturers, and gun owners. They got stores like Target or corporations like Ford and GM to be shaken down. Even baseball teams got shaken down. Now, every baseball team except the Rangers, and you know, this year the Atlanta Braves did not rainbow up their logo for Pride Month. The Rangers never do. And you know what? The Rangers' position has always been, we want everyone to feel welcome every month of the year, not just 1 month. We're not participating in things on the left or things on the right. And the left has been bullying, badgering, and threatened to boycott the Rangers for years, the Texas Rangers, because the Rangers said, we want everyone to be welcome at all times. We're not celebrating Christian things. We're not celebrating pride things. We just want everybody to be welcome. That wasn't good enough for the left. This is the left-wing shakedown. And it's been happening for years. And now Donald Trump is president. And the message is not that you're shaken down for the right. The message is you don't have to be shaken down anymore. Just go do business. Do business with everyone. Don't harass anyone. Don't debank anyone. And what is the reaction of the media? What is the reaction of the press corps? What is the reaction of the left? This is an overcorrection because of Donald Trump. They're scared of Donald Trump. No, they were scared of you people on the left because you were bullies. They, on the left, harassed these businesses. If you didn't want to give Human Rights Campaign or Glad Money, you knew you were going to be labeled as a homophobe. You didn't want to hoist the pride flag for Pride Month, you were going to be boycotted by the left. And the media would vilify you. CNBC would run a story. You know, CNBC, I find them to be a better news outlet than most, but even CNBC runs these stories on, did you know the CEO of this company gave money to Trump's inauguration? Did you know this company gives money to conservatives? Everybody needs to know and shun them. It is a bullying operation by the mainstream media. You support the right, you're vilified. Let me read you a quote here. This is from the Free Press. This is a quote from, and let me make sure I get the source right. This is from Ilya Shapiro. Under the Bush administration, it was more focused, and to the extent Americans were ensnared because of the Bank Secrecy Act, it was because they were having communications with foreigners who were under surveillance, says Ilya Shapiro, a constitutional law expert at the Manhattan Institute. Obama turned a lot of that apparatus inward to go after politically incorrect businesses where domestic terrorism could be defined to include even people who show up at school board meetings to protest policies. Emblematic of this inward approach was Operation Choke Point, which the Obama administration launched in 2013, targeting banks whose clients included legal weapons distributors and payday lenders assumed to be at risk of committing fraud or laundering money. The reason that we focused on financial institutions and payment processors is because they are the so-called bottlenecks or choke points in the fraud committed by many merchants, said Michael Brezhnik, the executive director of Obama's Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force. The problem here is they intentionally used it to go after gun manufacturers and gun stores. Joe Biden himself doubled down on it when he was president, expanding the definition of domestic terrorism. Even people who showed up at school board meetings could risk being debanked. And, of course, the media never wants to cover that part of it. What's happening right now is not an overcorrection. What's happening right now is not banks and corporations caving to the Trump administration. It's they're all breathing a sigh of relief that they can go back to normal, where your politics should not determine whether or not you can get a bank account. And under Obama and Biden, your politics did determine that, and the media, complicit with the left, has never wanted to be honest about it.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Rate Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. That median wall repair is wrapping up now from the two left lanes in Doraville, 285 eastbound, the inner loop at Buford Highway. Already starting to see the rain along I-20 through DeKalb as well as 285 in the Clarkston area. So just allow some extra time on the wet pavement this afternoon to get to your destination. Traffic brought to you by Extreme Experience. Give Dad the ultimate driving experience in a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Porsche on a real racetrack. Extreme Experience. It's Atlanta Motorsports Park, July 10th through 13th. Save 25% for Father's Day. ExtremeExperience.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Where you get your news is where you win.
Download the WSB app and get ready for the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Amazing. 5 chances a day to win $5,000.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Are you serious? Your next chance to win is coming up at 2 p.m.
Just enter the word at WSBRadio.com or on the WSB Radio app. Oh, no. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
On 95.5 WSB.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's no wonder CertaPro Painters is Greater Atlanta's most preferred painting company. Hear from one of their happy customers.
We wanted to add some color to our walls, so we hired CertaPro. We had built-in shelves that were supposed to be ready to paint when they got there, which they were not. CertaPro spent hours caulking and sanding to make sure the job was done right. It's rare to find a crew with integrity who really take pride in their work.
When choosing a painting professional, choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So, why real estate? We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week. Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today. You can buy a quality rental property today and build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly. These are my favorite markets for cash flow. And build wealth long term. The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. Car prices are expected to rise this summer. Do you wait or buy now? At Butler Lexus South Atlanta, there's no guesswork, just peace of mind. All in-stock Lexus vehicles are price locked, guaranteed not to go up. Visit Butler Lexus of South Atlanta or call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Experience the standard of amazing.
If your basement is showing any problem signs, condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, or rot, AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help before it's too late. Visit aquaguard.net and sign up for a free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Join Eric's army of activists and let your voice be heard. Text ARMY to 33777.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be a part of the program, you'll have to stand by, though. This is a short segment. When we come back, I want to shift gears to, there's a big Wall Street Journal story on Leonard Leo. You know, he's been vilified by Trump. I defended him the other day. He's playing a longer game than a lot of conservatives right now. And one of my concerns are the grifters on the right. They're playing a very short-term game for access. And when you look at what's happening now, that they're potentially sabotaging the future of the GOP for their own gains. Take the Elon Musk stuff, for example. Elon Musk is upset about the big, beautiful bill. One of the reasons the White House says is because it is cutting EV subsidies, but Elon Musk was actually a supporter of cutting the EV subsidies because he believes that Tesla can thrive without EV subsidies in a way that other electric vehicle companies can't. It puts him at a competitive advantage. Nonetheless, those in the White House have convinced Trump to attack him. It's not going to end well for anybody. Now, look, on July 1st, the new Basel III banking rules go into full effect. They could reshape global finance overnight. For decades, gold has been treated as a second-class collateral, allowing banks to flood the market with what they call paper gold, essentially certificates of gold ownership that are leveraged 100 to 1. But that ends now. Under the new rules, only physical, fully allocated gold is going to qualify as Tier 1 collateral on par with cash. Paper golds must now going to be backed by at least 85% real metal, still not 100%. Central banks aren't waiting. They've been quietly stockpiling physical gold for months. They see what's coming. On July 6th and 7th, the BRIC nations are going to gather. They're working to ditch the U.S. dollar and settle trade with gold. All of this is causing the price of gold to go up. So what do? Well, you act now. You call Swiss America, trusted leader in precious metals for over 40 years. Find out how to protect your savings with real physical gold before the rules take effect. Call or text them at 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can just text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. Just make sure you tell them that I sent you. Message and data rates do apply. 800-289-2646.
It's your money. Get it sooner. All you need is direct deposit with a checking or savings account at Coosa Valley Credit Union. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Not only can you get your money sooner, but we believe in kinder banking where you deal with real people in person. So come see us.
With Orchard, you can buy your new home before selling the old one and get paid twice. Cash up front now, more cash when it sells. Get started at Orchard.com. Get paid twice. Orchard.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Federal authorities say a Washington state man provided chemicals to make explosives that were used to bomb that California fertility clinic in May. Authorities have arrested 32-year-old Daniel Park in New York upon his return from Poland. The bomber was killed in that attack. Your weather for today, increasing clouds, some rain showers moving in. We're seeing some on WSB Storm Tracker radar, and those showers will stay with us through late afternoon and evening. Highs around 84, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The Walt Disney Company is laying off several hundred employees across the globe. Layoffs affect several divisions, including television, film marketing, and corporate financial operations. The theme parks division will not be impacted by these job cuts. Could this impact your packages arriving in a timely manner? Some FedEx pilots hitting the streets amid long, drawn-out contract negotiations. Jim Krasula is following.
We are fed up with management. That was the message from FedEx pilots, including Jose Nieves, who rallied outside the company's headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee.
We are concerned about the future of the company. We are concerned and frustrated with the progress in our negotiations that has been over 4 years.
The FedEx pilots say the company is putting profits over people.
And as you just had lunch, or maybe you're thinking about what's for dinner tonight, a public health alert today concerning organic ground beef products. According to the Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, the products could reportedly be contaminated with E. coli. This applies to some organic rancher products distributed to whole food markets across the nation. Now, there was no recall request or reports of any illnesses so far. Food safety officials, though, are worried that consumers could still have some of these ground beef products in their refrigerators or freezers. The affected meat, which has the use by or freeze by date of June 19th and 20th of this year on the packaging, should not be consumed. It's 1:32.
Mosquito bites are the worst, right? But did you know mosquitoes are disgusting little germ factories that can carry viruses that can be harmful to your family and pets? Dave Baker here for the local family-owned company that I trust to protect my home, Breda Pest Management. It's time to quit your itching, be the superhero for your family, and eliminate mosquito-borne viruses in your yard with one call to Breda. Every Breda technician is licensed, providing the knowledge and ongoing training to properly and safely knock down those bloodthirsty, virus-carrying mosquitoes immediately. And if mosquitoes return within 30 days, only Breda will come back and retreat your yard at no additional cost. Nobody is better at protecting your family from mosquito-borne viruses. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Spring storms can produce flash flooding with heavy rain flowing around your house and into your crawl space. And rainwater trapped in there will provide the perfect breeding ground for mold. Hey, this is Christina Epwords. Mold not only produces that stale, musty smell, but it can also impact the air quality in your home. But call my friends at American Crawl Space Solutions. They will encapsulate your crawl space, keeping it dry and preventing mold from forming. AmericanCrawlSpaceSolutions.com, your best value for crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Yeah, we're watching that rain you mentioned moving in through Metro Atlanta. I'm seeing it on the downtown connector, 285 into Cab, 85 up in Gwinnett County, and a crash in Cobb, 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. That blocks the right lane, slowing you through Marietta. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwords. Increasing cloud cover and a few off and on rain showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84.
It is raining right now in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
So it's perfect timing. Cheryl in Panama City Beach, Florida. Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
Hey, thanks for your show notes. I'm calling about the nomination of Santa Ono to be the president of the University of Florida. The Board of Governors voted this nominee down. That's after the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to approve the candidate. How did a liberal nominee for the University of Florida presidency get this far in a red state with a red governor, red legislature? That's my first question. The second question is, how do we guard against liberal nominees like this from happening? We think we do our job as citizens voting in Republicans, but then, we get no relief. There's no rest for the weary.
Right.
In thinking, well, we've done our job and now they'll do the right thing in selecting candidates.
So, okay. I would tell you actually the system worked here. So bear with me. Let me explain this to you. Now, this is as I understand it, Cheryl, so I may be making a mistake, but here's what my understanding is. So, the last president of the University of Florida is Ben Sasse, Republican, very conservative senator from Nebraska. He had been a college president before he went to the U.S. Senate and was offered the position of president of the University of Florida. Ben Sasse was offered the position over the objections of the Board of Trustees of the University of Florida. The Board of Governors overruled the Board of Trustees in that situation and put Ben Sasse in. The Board of Governors is 17 members, oversees the operations management of the public. There are 12 state institutions they oversee in Florida, the State University System of Florida. 14 of them are appointed by the governor. Right now, Ron DeSantis, they're confirmed by the Senate. The three are the chair of the Advisory Council of Faculty Senates, the Commissioner of Education, the chair of the Florida Student Association. They've got 7-year terms, the appointed members. Now, here's the situation. Ben Sasse becomes president of the University of Florida, becomes aggressively conservative along with other institutions in Florida. Sasse basically gets rid of DEI at the University of Florida. Sasse, he elevates a number of conservative faculty hires. He ruffles the feathers of the faculty and the trustees of the University of Florida for moving aggressively. He steps aside because his wife is in poor health, has developed, they're young. His wife's got some dementia issues, among other things, stemming from a very bad stroke she had years ago. And as he goes out the door to kick him, the university trustees and the university start dumping a lot of opposition research towards Ben Sasse, essentially kicking him on his way out the door. They claim he was overspending the budget, he was hiring outsiders, he was setting up stuff in D.C. Now, you should know that all of this was done with the approval of the university system. They wanted him to develop greater research faculty, greater research staff at the University of Florida. They wanted him to set up a satellite office in Washington, D.C., where the University of Florida could have better ties into the government because these Ivy League institutions get so many grants. They didn't think the University of Florida was competitive. So he does a lot of this stuff that the board wants him to do. And then when he's out the door, people start sabotaging him, trashing him, and claiming he was blowing through the budget, he was overspending, he was living high on the hog. None of it was true. Only later is Sasse able to mount his defense and document everything that was approved. Well, they didn't want another conservative in the mold of Ben Sasse at the University of Florida. The local people didn't. They didn't want any more incentivizing of conservative staff. They didn't want any more promotion of conservative faculty. They didn't want any more tenure grants to conservatives. So what they did, my understanding is, at the local level, the board there at the University of Florida and the faculty at the University of Florida pushed this guy, Ono. Now, Ono was in charge of the University of Michigan. He had been, I'm now, let me pull up this article. I'm not sure how long he had been at Michigan, but while at Michigan, he had absolutely full bore gone down the path of DEI, thoroughly embraced DEI, was unresponsive to the concerns of Jewish students with the rise of anti-Semitism at the University of Michigan. And remember, the University of Michigan is also one of those institutions that had discriminated against Asian students. So Rick Scott began to raise red flags. Byron Donald began to raise red flags. Others began to raise red flags. Now, on top of this, there's a subcurrent. Ron DeSantis is term limited. Ron DeSantis' wife, Casey DeSantis, has been thinking about running for governor herself. Byron Donalds is running for governor. There's bad blood between Rick Scott and Byron Donalds. And so a lot of these guys on the outside thought they could use the Ono pick to embarrass Ron DeSantis on top of everything else. You had the institutional people at the University of Florida wanted him. The Ron DeSantis critics thought they could tie DeSantis to the guy, but ultimately the Board of Governors has rejected the pick. Now, the punchline here is that he was the only one the people at the University of Florida wanted. So much so that the guy quit the University of Michigan and waited for essentially his coronation. That allowed the political opposition to build further, and he has been booted out in the process. So the University of Florida has been spared this guy. DeSantis, of course, came out against him ultimately as well. And the University of Florida is going to have to go back to the drawing board. But this all stems from the Ben Sasse pick, because Ben Sasse was a great university president who he championed Jewish students on campus. He shut down attempts to censor conservatives. He did all these things. And on his way out the door, dealing with his wife's health, they essentially sandbagged the guy, tarred and feathered him, slandered him, twisted his record, and then tried to elevate a progressive into the role. And, well, it didn't fly with anybody in the board leadership. So there you have it. That's what happened. The system did work, though. The Board of Governors, 14 of the 17 members appointed by Ron DeSantis, they rejected the guy that the University of Florida claimed they wanted. Now, I want to talk about grifters on the right, because we got problems. What is a grifter? A grifter is someone who claims results if you will just give them money. They claim results, and oftentimes these guys get embedded on the left and the right. They shake down donors. They convince donors they're wonderful, and they make a lot of money and don't have a lot to show for it. There have been allegations on the right about Charlie Kirk, for example, with Turning Point USA, a big story about how much money he and those associated with make because they refer business to other companies that they have ownership interest in. There's not a lot to show for the success of turning college kids towards the right through TPUSA. On the left, you've got this massive shakedown, give us millions of dollars and we'll find a way to bring young men back to the left. There are allegations against people on the right, people on the left, young people in particular who are getting involved in politics. Kirk sometimes unfairly gets tarred and feathered with stuff. But there are other groups out there who wish to fill a void. So the Federalist Society has been out there for a very long time helping pick conservative judges. And, for example, there are a lot of people who will swear on their grave John Roberts was a Federalist Society pick. He actually wasn't. Federalist Society wanted Sam Alito. But the Bush administration decided they could have an easier confirmation with John Roberts and then get Alito on the Supreme Court. David Souter was not a Federalist Society pick. Every time the Federalist Society has been ignored by Republicans in the White House, they have, gotten they've gotten bad picks on the court. So in 2020, the Federalist Society did not spend a lot of money. In fact, they spent no money to help with the claims that the election was stolen. And so into the mix come other outside groups claiming that the Federalist Society betrayed Donald Trump by not spending money to help Donald Trump overturn the 2020 election. And they have convinced Donald Trump that the Federalist Society betrayed him. Now, here's what you have to know and what the president has not been told. The Federalist Society is not structured that way. The lawyers that Donald Trump hired to try to overturn the election, many of them were Federalist Society members. Many Federalist Society members volunteered pro bono to help Donald Trump. In fact, one of them is a neighbor of mine who spent a lot of pro bono time. He's a Federalist Society member, advises the Federalist Society on his local law school campus, and he helped. But the Federalist Society, these people, went to Donald Trump and said, "Hey, Mr. President, my group spent money to help you. The Federalist Society didn't. You should side with me." Pay no attention to the fact that the Federalist Society doesn't spend money like that. That's not the way the Federalist Society is structured. So Donald Trump is now elevating groups other than the Federalist Society. He's attacking Leonard Leo. Let's go to Elon Musk because there's a punchline here. A lot of these people, Elon Musk has come out. He's not sympathetic to the big, beautiful bill. He's cast doubts on tariffs. He has made enemies in the White House. So Musk's enemies in the White House, particularly the pro-tariff side, the Peter Navarros, the Howard Lutnicks of the world, they have thrown Elon Musk under the bus. They have hurt him with the president. They have smeared his name in private in White House meetings so that the president casts doubt on him, among other things. And the result is that the president is now mad at Elon Musk, and he's mad at Leonard Leo. And what these people say about Musk is, it's okay, Mr. President, we have all these other people who can fill the Elon Musk void. And what they tell Donald Trump is, it's okay, Mr. President, we have all these other people who can fill the Leonard Leo role. Here's the punchline. Elon Musk was committed to spending $100 million with an M dollars on Republican electoral chances. Leonard Leo, formerly of the Federalist Society, has over $1 billion with a B dollars to spend on conservative causes. And the grifters who want access to the White House, Leonard Leo doesn't need the access. The grifters have poisoned the president's relationship with Elon Musk, who was going to spend $100 million, and poisoned the president's relationship with Leonard Leo, who has $1 billion to spend. And you know what Leonard Leo is spending his billions on? He's playing a long game. The grifters are playing a very short game. They want immediate access to the president. They want immediate clout. Leonard Leo is playing a very long game. Many of you on this program have asked me if I have seen the Amazon series about King David and the establishment of the Kingdom of David. That series is funded by Leonard Leo. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. Leonard Leo is out making conservative-oriented movies that actually don't suck. Leonard Leo is actually out there funding conservative projects in Hollywood that are not sucking. Leonard Leo is out there continuing to advance conservative judicial nominees. And the president, because those around the president slandered and smeared Musk and Leo, is probably going to be deprived of money that could otherwise be used to advance the Republican agenda for the next 2 or 3 years. The grifters wanted access, and the grifters don't have the deep pockets these men have. They don't have the skill set these men have. What they wanted was access. We've traded giants for midgets. And it's going to hurt all of us. It's going to hurt all of us on the right because the grifters have gotten into the White House and whispered in the president's ear, and he doesn't know. He's busy. He's got other stuff. He relies on people around him. And the people around him have allowed the grifters into the room to whisper in his ear, and they've now alienated him from a man who was going to spend $100 million and another man who had access to $1 billion. Well played, grifters. Well played. When the Democrats, if the Democrats are able to pick up ground in 2026, y'all remember, Charlie, we can put this in the file right here in the I Told You So file. The grifters in the White House poisoned the president on people who were willing to help. The president is so busy dealing with everything else, he relies on these people for advice. They've poisoned the well, giving him bad advice, putting their own ambitions ahead of the president's agenda and the country. And what's going to happen? Probably nothing good. Now, I want something good to happen for you, which can happen if you go to Vision Computers and let them build your new computer for you. Vision can not just build computers for you, they can upgrade your existing computer. And then if your programs on your computer are Windows 11 compatible, they can take everything on your existing computer, transfer it to your new computer, set the new computer up identical to the old computer. So when you get the new computer, you got new guts. You got more memory, you got better GPU, you got better CPU, you got a better hard drive, you got everything better, but it's set up exactly like you're familiar with, so you never skip a beat. And then if you have any questions at all, they have the best 24/7, 365 customer service. You get a special number. You can call them. You can email them. You get a response in less than 15 minutes. Faster than a Google search. When you call, they'll answer the phone in less than 15 seconds. Not minutes, but seconds. There's no call tree, no phone waiting, hell, none of that. They answer the phone. You ever got a question, they're going to answer the phone. And if you just want their tech support, you don't even need a computer. You just need their tech support. They can give that to you as well for just $179 a year. And you get a discount if you mention Eric sent you. Anybody nationwide, whether you're in Maine or California, Alaska, Hawaii, Florida, doesn't matter. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You're going to save even more money. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center, adding insult to injury in Cobb County. The crash still working in the right lane, 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. Now the rain is following there, so it's putting extra pressure on the ride through Marietta from North Marietta Parkway. The rain also impacting 285 on the east side between I-85 Spaghetti Junction and I-20, as well as 85 north and southbound through Duluth and Norcross. Traffic brought to you by Active Pest Control. Enjoy a pest-free home with Active Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service. To save $50 off your initial pest service, visit ActivePestControl.com today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Thursday, starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, it's the last week of our Bonus Blitz contest. Remember, keyword 8:11 a.m., your chance to win $1,000. Scott Slade's Georgia this week. Why Georgia shrimpers are struggling to stay afloat. And very timely, Clark Howard's great news if you're looking for a great sunscreen. Join us for Atlanta's Morning News right here on 95.5 WSB.
Did you know that warts are caused by a virus? Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. A customer at Bread Beckers shared her story of frustration. Her daughter had warts, over 500 of them. Her beautiful, healthy daughter could not get rid of warts despite trying doctors, burning, freezing, ointments, you name it. We taught this woman that every nutrient needed to protect ourselves from viruses can be found in whole grains and real bread. She bought everything needed from Bread Beckers to make her own real bread at home. With this one simple change, her daughter's warts were gone in just 2.5 weeks for good. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. If you're struggling with warts, high cholesterol, bowel issues, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, take the first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 body scan offer at Virtual Imaging has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
You know the best part about hot weather is walking into a cool, comfortable house, right? Dave Baker here for Coolray Heating and Cooling. Summer is here. Don't let HVAC problems ruin your fun. Coolray is offering up to $2,250 in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete home carrier system. Ready to stay cool this summer? Visit Coolray.com to book your appointment today and keep your home cool and comfortable all summer long. Coolray Carrier. Turn to the experts.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Tell you what happened yesterday when the show concluded. In the third hour yesterday, I was talking about young men moving to the right and jokes and humor and things like that. And I pointed out my 16-year-old son is peak 16-year-old humor. His humor, it is not appropriate in many cases. There are racial and ethnic humor involved. And I said, you know, you and I normally, I could tell you any of these jokes and most of you would laugh at them. And I could tell you every single joke he makes about white people and every single one of you would laugh. But if I told you a joke about non-white people that he has said, 99% of you would laugh, but the 1% would be some angry female enraged that I said a joke that she didn't find humorous and demand my job. I am not kidding you that before the show ended, multiple women called my call screener and began to chew him out about me simply saying that my son tells inappropriate jokes. One woman for 7 minutes chewed out my call screener. I didn't even say any of the jokes. They're very funny, by the way. I didn't say any of them. Not a single one of them did I say, and she proceeded to berate my call screener just on the idea that my son might tell an inappropriate joke, proving my point. Humorless, neurotic, progressive women are the worst. Progressive women, not women, progressive women. Now, we must move on. I must tell you about Omaha Steaks. I'm sure somebody's going to complain about that too. Why aren't you a vegan? Because I love Omaha Steaks and they're delicious. And Father's Day is coming up. Your father doesn't want to be a vegan. He wants steak from Omaha Steaks because steak is joy. And steak from Omaha Steaks is the most joyous thing your father can get for his Father's Day. You go to omahasteaks.com, you load your cart up, You fill it up. You give him steak and pork chops and chicken. If you don't know what to get your dad for Father's Day, you can put Eric in the search bar, and they'll give you a customized package. But at checkout, you'll see a promo code box, and you put Eric, E-R-I-C-K, in your promo box, and you're going to get $35 off already unbelievable prices at omahasteaks.com. Minimum order required. You can get steak and seafood. You can even get desserts. You can plan your entire Father's Day meal and let your dad do the grilling, or you do the grilling for him. omahasteaks.com. The promo code box, you put in Eric, E-R-I-C-K, get $35 off deliciousness delivered to your door. It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There are so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
More local news.
Atlanta's airport's bracing for record-breaking crowds. Apparent murder in the Grant Park area.
More traffic.
A crash in the Cobb Cloverleaf.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
You're on and off the brakes beginning at University.
More weather.
Looking at rotation that is near the city of Brooks. Thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin-up tornado.
Atlanta's Morning News.
Governor Kemp reacting to that tariff pause.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story, the impact of tariffs as the White House increases tariffs on steel and aluminum imports to 50%. There are new warnings today from Georgia brewers.
Aluminum and steel are needed for the manufacturing process for items like cans and kegs. Joseph Cortez with the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild says these higher tariffs will lead to price increases for consumers.
About 76% of all packaged beer in the United States comes in cans, and that's especially true for our small and independent craft breweries across the state.
He says most breweries tried to eat the added expenses behind the initial 25% tariffs, but it will be much harder to do that with the increase in effect. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
A discount retailer is the latest to warn tariffs could lead to higher prices.
Dollar Tree says its second quarter profits could be down as much as 50% from a year ago as it deals with tariff-related costs. Its first quarter earnings were better than Wall Street expected, with same-store sales rising more than 5%.
Correspondent Michael Wallace reports most of Dollar Tree's imported products come from China, one of President Trump's top tariff targets. It is 76 degrees in Atlanta, rain moving through.
An area of low pressure is swirling off the Georgia and South Carolina coastline. It's not going to have enough time to organize into an official tropical system, but it is going to push that tropical moisture into metro Atlanta.
Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. The FBI arrests a suspect in last month's car bombing of a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. Daniel Park of Kent, Washington is arrested at New York's JFK Airport.
Daniel Park flew to Warsaw, Poland via Denmark on May 21st, where he was detained on May 30th by Polish authorities. Deported back to the United States, where he was arrested last night at JFK.
The FBI's Akil Davis says Park provided chemicals to make explosives used in the bombing. The primary suspect died in the May 17th bombing. The feds are identifying the 15 victims of the fire attack in Boulder, Colorado. They range in age from 25 to 88 years old and includes one dog. 3 of the victims are still in the hospital. With school out for the summer, Gwinnett County Police crack down on shoplifters.
If you're going to be shoplifting here, you will be prosecuted, and you're going to have serious consequences with that.
Corporal Juan Mediedo says 19 people are arrested in a 2-day shoplifting sting operation in and around the Mall of Georgia. Many of those busted are juveniles. Police recovered thousands of dollars in stolen merchandise. It is 2:02. This news sponsored by Bread Beckers.
So here's a thought. What if selling your house meant you didn't just get paid once, but twice? Sounds nice, right? That's exactly what Orchard does. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and I'm telling you, this is different. Orchard gives you cash up front from your current home, so you can go ahead and buy your next one now. No stress, no where are we going to live in the meantime drama. And while you're moving in, getting cozy, arguing over where the couch goes, Orchard is busy getting your old place ready to sell. They handle the cleanup, the fix-ups, the showings, even upgrades that can raise the price. And here's the kicker. When it sells for more, which happens a lot, you get that extra money too. So yeah, first payday comes when you buy, second one comes when your old place sells. Not bad, right? Want to check it out? Just head to Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com and get a free home valuation. No pressure, just a smarter, easier way to move. That's Orchard.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
It is 2:04, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Already seeing the crash count climb as some of the rain's been moving through, Bill. We got one in the right lane, 75 South Windy Hill downtown. Center lane crash, 75-85 southbound at William Street. And now a left lane crash into DeKalb County, 285 southbound the Interloop Glenwood Road exit 44. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover today with off and on rain showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, rain and cloud cover moving out. Tomorrow's high 85. Watching for heavy rain and thunderstorms on Friday with a high of 88.
Storm tracker radar right now shows rain moving into the metro area from the southeast to the northwest. Right now, some rain in Rockdale County. Also rain in North Fulton at this hour. It's 78 in Decatur, 73 in Conyers, and 78 in Riverdale. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is vibe. Got a whole new vibe. V-I-B-E. Got a brand new vibe. Vibe. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is vibe. V-I-B-E. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson here. I am delighted to have you with me. We have some breaking news that particularly affects those of you listening out in California today. We've now got a number of California affiliates. Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, announcing that it is the U.S. Department of Transportation is now finding California's high-speed rail project in default of its federal grant award totaling $4 billion. On Twitter, he writes, U.S. DOT has found the California high-speed rail project is in default of its federal grant awards totaling $4 billion. Here's the cold, hard truth. There's no viable path to complete the rail project on time or on budget. California is on notice. If they can't deliver on their end of the deal, it could soon be time for these funds to flow to other projects that can achieve President Trump's vision of building great, big, beautiful things again. This is from the statement. The report identifies years of mismanagement, broken promises, and wasted federal taxpayer dollars. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy released the Federal Railroad Administration Compliance Review Report, finding the California High-Speed Rail Authority's high-speed rail project is in default of the terms of its federal grant awards. The detailed report, which is over 300 pages, contains 9 key findings, including missed deadlines, budget shortfalls, and overrepresentation of projected ridership. The 2 grants total roughly $4 billion in taxpayer money. As the letter notes, California has up to 37 days to respond, after which the grant could be terminated. A letter to the California High-Speed Rail Authority CEO, Ian Chowdhury, the FRA noted the report identifies a trail of project delays, mismanagement, waste, and skyrocketing costs. The project has received approximately $6.9 billion in federal dollars over roughly 15 years and has not laid a single high-speed track. You know, there actually is this book, Abundance, on the left now. Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson, I think that they wrote this book on how we essentially got to make the trains run on time or else we're going to be rejected. That's the premise of the book from the left. And California can't even lay down rail line efficiently. There's been mismanagement. By the way, in Texas and in Florida, the public-private partnerships have been able to lay down high-speed rail line. It's just California can't. California is regulated too much to be able to do so. So there's your breaking news happening now. The president has, the Secretary of Transportation saying California is in default of its federal grant. It's got 37 days to respond. Karine Jean-Pierre. She is the former White House press secretary, and I want to be brutally honest with you. Karine Jean-Pierre got the job because she was a black lesbian. She was actually in a relationship with a CNN reporter for some time, and they have subsequently broken up. It is not my view. Same with Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg got the job of Secretary of Transportation because he was a gay dude who liked trains and had a military background. It was a diversity pick circus at the Biden White House, and Karine Jean-Pierre was not good at her job, and Democrats and Republicans all expressed concerns during her time at the White House for her not doing her job, and now she has announced she is leaving the Democratic Party and, of course, releasing a new book. Her White House friends, and I use friends in air quotes here, oftentimes bit their tongue, but it was very notable how often John Kirby had to be in the room with her. And now that they're out of the White House, the wheels are coming off the Biden bus, they're ready to finally have their say about it. Let me read you this. This is from Politico. It just hit the wires about 15 minutes ago. Karine Jean-Pierre's announcement that she's leaving the Democratic Party, timed with the rollout of a new book, has detonated long-simmering grievances among her former White House colleagues about Jean-Pierre's pursuit of celebrity and personal media exposure while serving as press secretary. The attention-grabbing ploy lit up Democratic and Biden alumni texting groups and reignited frustrations that burned for years about Jean-Pierre, according to 7 former Biden administration officials granted anonymity to describe private conversations. One former official recalled that Jean-Pierre had joked about becoming an independent even while on the job in the White House, an off-key comment for someone ostensibly serving as a major messenger of the Democratic Party. Another former official said Jean-Pierre had begun working during the Biden administration with a New York-based publicist and had copied that person on official emails before some of Jean-Pierre's White House colleagues intervened. Everyone thinks this is a grift, the first former official said. As Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre's halting, ineffectual briefings exasperated reporters and routinely offered materials for the GOP's main account on X. That would be Twitter. She frustrated colleagues throughout the West Wing for focusing on raising her own profile while leaving the hands-on management of media relations and the White House press shop to other aides. It's unclear how she will portray Joe Biden or her time in the White House. The book is titled Independent, A Look Inside a Broken White House Outside the Party Lines. Several former colleagues expressed confusion at how Jean-Pierre seemingly intends to paint Biden as a victim while pinning her own decision to leave the party on his broken White House. Jean-Pierre's former staffers offered withering criticism of what they see as an opportunistic grift. She made a joke about being an independent last year, and now it's a book. All ideas are monetary, even the dumb ones, said a former staffer. Caitlin Legacki, a Democratic strategist who worked in the Commerce Department's communication shop during the Biden term, also took issue with the book. Kamala Harris and the entire Biden-Harris campaign did heroes work to avoid losing 400 electoral votes and giving the GOP a supermajority in Congress, which is what would have happened if he stayed on the ticket, she said. It's more productive to focus on that and thank Biden for doing the responsible thing by stepping aside than it is to pretend this was an unwarranted act of betrayal. Democrats, Legacki continued, should shift their focus to the efforts of Republicans' big, beautiful bill, blah, 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 blah. Listen. It is no secret behind the scenes, none of the Democrats particularly cared for her. She wasn't good at her job, objectively so. But I want to go back to this paragraph. This is from Eli Stokel at Politico, and this paragraph is not opinion. This paragraph is not someone's quote. This is the reporter reporting, and I quote, "As Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre's halting, ineffectual briefings exasperated reporters and routinely offered materials for the Republican Party's main account on Twitter. She frustrated colleagues throughout the West Wing for focusing on raising her own profile while leaving the hands-on management of media relations and the White House press shop to other aides." That's reporting. There's no quote there. It's not attributed to someone's opinion. That's the reporter writing. It's something that could have been written while she was White House press secretary, and they never bothered to do it. And yet again, we have this familiar pattern we're starting to see where reporters come out now and say, oh, it was so bad, it was so awful, these people were idiots. You could have said it while they were there, and you kept your mouth shut because it was all about protecting your precious. Everyone knows Karine Jean-Pierre is a dimwit who got her job because she's a black female lesbian. That's it. That's why she got her job. You can be offended with me telling you that, and it's the God's honest truth. She was a diversity pick in the same way Pete Buttigieg was. That's why she was press secretary. She wasn't good at her job. They knew it at the time. She's a pro-Hamas socialist radical who had no business being there. She had to read out of binders every single day. She was bad at her job, but she was there because of her skin color and sexual preference. She simply wasn't good at the job. And every reporter knew it, and Republican-oriented reporters were willing to say it. But the mainstream media was not, because it was protect the precious. This pattern comes up over and over and over again, where now that they're out of the White House, they can tell the truth. Now that they no longer have to protect their precious, they've got Donald Trump, they can tell you everything they really thought. And that's the problem with the press corps. The fact that they wouldn't tell us that at the time. The fact that they couldn't be honest at the time. They had plenty of opportunity and just chose not to because it was more important for them to circle the wagons around Joe Biden. I'm curious, actually, because nobody knows what's in this book. Nobody has any idea. I'm curious to see what she says. Back to the Politico. According to two former officials, Jean-Pierre had been hoping for a post-White House job as a co-host on a show, following the template of her predecessor, Jen Psaki, who departed the job after just more than a year for an anchor job at MSNBC. A New York-based publicist, Gilda Squire, worked informally with Jean-Pierre while she was in the White House and was on multiple occasions copied on official emails before staff intervened. Squire previously served as publicity director for HarperCollins and also did PR for Penguin Putnam Publishing, according to her LinkedIn. And Jean-Pierre was the subject of several lengthy profiles in lifestyle publications like Vogue and Women's Health, and traveled to New York to appear on The View. Oh, and she was hoping to be a co-host on The View. Of course she was hoping to be a co-host on The View. No such opportunity has materialized for Jean-Pierre, a factor three of her former colleagues surmise led to the book. Neither Jean-Pierre nor Squire responded for requests for comment. While a number of former colleagues kept their comments private, Jeremy Edwards, who served in the press shop under Jean-Pierre, posted a succinct response to her book project on Twitter, LOL. This is remarkable. Here is a prominent former Biden White House official via text, and I quote, "She was the public face telling us all that this White House was on track and that Biden was amazing, and now she doesn't even want to be a Democrat. She's making herself the middle ground here when Republicans hate her. She's not in any position to be a connector of our two-party system and assuming she could be in it just ego." Now, here's the thing, y'all. She doesn't want to be in the center, and this White House person clearly misses the room. She's on the far left. She's a radical. She's a pro-Hamas, anti-Israel radical. To the extent she wants a new party, it's probably the Democratic Socialists of America. She's a wackadoo lefty who is bad at her job. And it's nice that all these Democrats are now willing to speak up and say how bad she is at the job, because privately, I know people in the Biden White House who couldn't stand her. But I also know a lot of reporters knew there were problems, and not a single one of them said so. You learned more from me in those 4 years of her being behind the podium and me telling you Democrats in the White House thought she was bad at her job. John Kirby knew she was bad at her job. John Kirby had to be on standby every time she went to the podium just in case she said something stupid. And you learned that by listening to me, not from members of the media who knew and refused to report because they had to protect their precious. You get more candor and honesty about the Trump administration and the Biden administration from me than you do from either side, because I know these people. They're willing to tell me, and I tell them I'm an open book with you people. It's just remarkable that they're so upset about this. They should have seen it coming. Here's the other thing, though, is nobody's going to read this book. What is she going to add? She was a sycophant. She was a protector. She lied to people. Is she going to admit that she lied the whole time? I bet you she's not. I don't know that she's capable of doing so. I think the criticisms are actually right. This is all about ego. She was really hoping for a media opportunity. Lots of rumors there that maybe she'd get something at CNN, and nothing panned out. Why? Because even at CNN, they know she's not that smart. She's not that good at her job. Did you watch any of her press briefings? She was never that good at it. And now she has the audacity to rush out with this book. By the way, it's June 4th. The book is coming out. Was she writing it while she was in the White House? Wonder what the timeline was on that. But notice again, no reporters wanted to tell you what now they're freely talking about because they were protecting the precious.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool Rate Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center crash still in the center lane downtown 7585 southbound at William Street exit 249, slow from the 85-400 merge. Left lane crash into cab 285 southbound, the inner loop at Glenwood Road exit 44. Now back heading to the airport, just found a new stall in the center lane 85 southbound past Cleveland Avenue exit 76. Traffic brought to you by Purple Mattress. Purple mattresses and pillows are up to 75% off for a limited time. Stop by their showroom at the outlet shops at Atlanta this weekend for the amazing deals. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is vibe. Got a whole new vibe. V-I-B-E. Got a brand new vibe. Vibe. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is vibe. V-I-B-E. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1960. 1964.
Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. Over the past 30 years, we've seen countless lives change for the better and health issues greatly improved, if not completely resolved, by customers changing their diets, starting with real bread. At the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real, delicious bread loaded with fiber and nutrients from real whole grains. A healthy, affordable solution for your family that can change your lives. For various customers, we've seen cholesterol levels drop 85 to 100 points in just 1 month, blood sugar stabilize, anemia corrected, and hundreds of stories of warts going away. In one case, as many as 500 warts gone in just 2.5 weeks. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. Let us help you take the first steps to better health. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Your friends at Steel Horse Law are motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They've mastered safely riding our Georgia roads, and they've mastered the unexpected twists and turns of Georgia law. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. With all the changes in Georgia law, you need the most experienced local motorcycle injury law firm to protect your rights. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get a free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. This just in. Chuck Schumer says we're all going to die because of this one big, beautiful bill.
And we all know one thing. Donald Trump is just lying about the bill. Lying about the bill. Well, here's the We Are All Going to Die Act.
We are all going to die. Now, I thought we all died because of net neutrality. And those of us who didn't die because of net neutrality died because of the last tax cuts. And those of us who didn't die because of the last tax cuts died because of the Obamacare reforms. And those who didn't die because of the Obamacare reforms, I thought they all died because of climate change. So now the Democrats are coming up with we are all going to die. Every time Republicans attempt to pass anything, Democrats claim we're all going to die. And Chuck Schumer now has declared the One Big Beautiful Bill Act should be renamed the We're All Going to Die Act. I'm not making that up. We were all going to die because of climate change. We're all going to die because of net neutrality. We're all going to die because of the previous tax cuts. We're all going to die because of sequestration. We're all going to die because of immigration reform. It's all the Democrats know. Abortion has so rotted their brains, all they can think about is death cult stuff. We're all going to die by getting tax cuts. We're all going to die by reforming Medicaid. We're all going to die by giving you access to high-speed internet without government subsidy. Always and forever, Democrats believe we're going to die unless Democrats are in charge. And yet, we keep thriving. Maybe we don't need you, Democrats. I mentioned debanking trends earlier, and that brings me to Old Glory Bank. The reason Old Glory Bank was started was in response to the debanking trends that all these banks said weren't really happening, yet were. It's notable that Citibank is now coming out saying that you're not going to be debanked if you're a Second Amendment guy and want to buy guns or run a gun store. Oh, well, that's always been Old Glory Bank's business model. Citibank is only just now getting there. That's why I like Old Glory Bank. They reflect my values. In a world where so many banks are pushing nonsense agendas, Old Glory Bank believes in common sense American values. They are my bank. I made the switch to Old Glory Bank, and you can too. No fee checking, no fee savings, business accounts, mortgages, CDs, you name it. Great online bill pay, great apps, great budget management tools. OldGloryBank.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K is where you want to go. Now, this is new. I used to just tell you to go to OldGloryBank.com. They've set up a landing page for me. If you go to OldGloryBank.com/Eric, I get the credit for you going there. So you should do that just to overwhelm their server with me sending you there so they see my power. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Really good bank, great people. You're not going to get debanked. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply. Do you think you need to renovate your kitchen, but you're worried about the costs? Well, Frugal Kitchens can help you get $1 million looking kitchen for a fraction of the cost and 18 months, no interest financing available. The best part, they can get you back up and cooking in 5 days from the start of construction. Life happens in your kitchen. That's where you build so many memories. If you're like Christy and me, that's why we use Frugal Kitchens, and you can too. FrugalKitchens.com is the website. Go check them out. Don't forget 18 months, no interest financing available. FrugalKitchens.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A suspect is arrested in connection with the attempted bombing of a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Asaley, says Daniel Park was arrested in New York.
Mr. Park was arrested last night at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City after returning to the United States from Poland, where law enforcement officials there detained him.
Investigators say Park was working with the suspect who died in the bombing May 17th. A federal judge drops the charges against a former Atlanta police officer who claimed self-defense when he fatally shot an unarmed man more than 6 years ago. Sung Kim was a 26-year veteran with the department. He had been charged with murder in the 2019 shooting of Jimmy Atchison. Georgia breweries are trying to deal with the new 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Joseph Cortez with the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild says higher tariffs could have serious impacts across the industry.
Products to make beer, to produce beer, to package beer, this will be an added pressure.
He says it's likely many breweries will need to hike prices to account for increased supply costs. City of South Fulton leaders push back on the elimination of a federal job training program. South Fulton City Councilwoman Helen Willis says Job Corps provides training for at-risk youth in the city.
We want Congress and President Trump administration to immediately restore the Job Corps funding for fiscal 2026 federal budget.
It's now 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Going back to college, I have sent my father Omaha steaks for Father's Day because who doesn't love steak? Dads love steak. A recent survey showed 75% of Americans agree there's no better way than to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. Dads love to grill. I remember some great memories as a kid of my dad grilling. Now I do. And I get him Omaha Steaks, and you can too. Shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, My listeners get an extra $35 off when you put ERICK in, ERICK, as your promo code at checkout. Unbelievable quality from Omaha Steaks. I am a longtime gift giver of Omaha Steaks. My dad loves Omaha Steaks. Your dad will too. Go to omahasteaks.com, load up your cart with deliciousness, get $35 off, minimum order required, when you use promo code ERICK at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. You'll get an extra $35 off with promo code ERICK at checkout. Your dad will love you for it.
Your deck is more than just a place to flip a burger or have a cup of coffee. It gathers your friends and family on all your favorite occasions and is there to enjoy every day. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and we build beautiful, high-quality decks at a reasonable price. We're licensed and insured, provide exceptional customer service, design help, and we'll work with the materials you want. Strength, durability, beauty. Decks done differently. Built by Nelson Exteriors. Get your free estimate. Google Nelson Exteriors.
Rates are up, rates are down. Every day it's something different. If you're curious about what's going on and when the best time will be to buy or refinance your home, call the experts I trust at Myland. This is Scott Slade. There's a reason the guys and gals at Myland are able to close loans that other local banks just can't. The folks at Myland are local and somebody you can trust to make sure you get the best loan for your needs at the best rate. You don't have to take my word for it. Here are lines from some recent testimonials. Myland kept me up to date and informed with every step of the way. They make you feel like you're one of the most important clients they have. Myland specializes in home financing, and they've seen it all. So whether you want to access the equity in your home to pay for other debts, buy a new home, or anything else, Myland is the place to call. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage License C148769. Myland located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
At 234, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Crash just cleared out of the left lane into cab. 285 southbound, the Interloop, Glenwood Road, exit 44, but still slow leaving Highway 78. Stacked up through downtown, starting at the 85-400 merge down to William Street, where trouble just cleared. And looking for new trouble, 400 southbound between Sandy Springs and Buckhead. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover and a few off and on rain showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 84.
76 in Mableton, 78 Union City, 75 in Tucker. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The city of Missoula, Montana has approved a resolution recognizing the pride flag as the only official flag in the city of Missoula. That's right. Why? Because there are laws in Montana that restrict the displays of flags in cities, and so the Missoula, Montana City Council has decided to post the pride flag. The resolution comes in response to a bill signed by Governor Gianforte. The bill prohibits flags on state property, including public schools, that represent a political viewpoint, including but not limited to flags or banners regarding a political party, race, sexual orientation, gender, or political ideology on government property. Excludes, however, the Gadsden flag, that is the Don't Tread on Me flag, and the POW MIA flag, among others. So Jennifer Savage, who is a city councilwoman in Missoula, cited her daughter, who's a member of the quote-unquote queer community, as the reason for bringing the resolution. Now, you should know, despite Montana being a fairly conservative, populous state, Missoula is where the big university is, and they a bunch of progressives. I had to go give a speech in Missoula a while back, and my gosh, it was like a hippie commune. It was something, and they are not happy in Missoula by this legislation. You know, in Salt Lake City, they've done the same thing. Now, you think of Mormon niceness, but Mormon rigidity in Utah and Salt Lake City, but Salt Lake City's become pretty progressive. Now, here's the funny thing. What pride flag? What pride flag? Because there's the standard pride flag that's just the rainbow stripes. But, the trans community has insisted that those stripes don't represent the trans community. The trans community, they're special. They've got to be specially represented with pastels. So you got the trans flag, which are pastel colors, and then some of them triangle in the transgender. It's just so... it really is cult-like. We can't just have the pride flag. We have to have the trans pride flag, and then we have to have the amalgamated flag of the trans pride flag and the regular pride flag. And you can't just have the American flag. You can't just fly the red, white, and blue. You got to fly the pride flag. And now they're going to be at war, I'm sure, with each other over which exactly pride flag must be flown because it doesn't appear to designate it. So are they excluding the trans community or not? I don't know. It's one of those silly stories that is worth calling attention to because progressives, it is a mental health issue with progressives time and time again. There is some breaking news, by the way. The president, as I'm sitting here, says he has had an hour-and-a-half long talk with Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin says that it is going to respond with an attack on Ukraine because of Ukraine's drone attack that Putin says he must respond. That's happening right now. I don't have any other details other than obviously Putin says he's going to retaliate, and Donald Trump says this is a natural response essentially from the Russians to want to do that, though the president still hopes for peace. Now, allow me to move on to a particular story that gives me some hope. I get really frustrated with tribal politics these days. Elevating truth over tribe is one of the things I like to do. COVID undermined people's trust of experts because we elevated a lot of people who really weren't experts and gave them expert status, and that has allowed other people of malicious intent to come in and cast doubt on everyone. And there's just a lack of discernment out there. There's actually a story I put in the show notes today, just tangent for a minute, just tangent. In Christian denominations, young men are coming into the church. I'm in Reformed Christianity. Now, what Reformed Christianity comes out of the Reformation. It's Calvinist-oriented. And I got to tell you, even though I'm Presbyterian and I'm in seminary and I appreciate the intellectual conversations, some of it is just pretentious. There is a lot of, I don't understand why, and it's typically men with beards who want to drink bourbon or scotch and smoke cigars and sit around and discuss deep theological issues, issues of systematic theology and eschatology and ecclesiology and covenant theology, and they like to use big words, and essentially it's very prideful. It's a bunch of men who get together who want to sit around and use very big words to try to prove that they're the man with the BSD and they're the guy in charge, and it's just pretentious. It is a pretentious trait within Reformed theology. There is a pridefulness in the conversations. They're not really there for edification. They're not really there for knowledge. They're really there to puff each other up as, oh, we're so smart, we're Presbyterian. And I'm a Presbyterian too, and I hate those conversations because there's so much pretension. And this guy wrote this piece. It's in the show notes about how he essentially got dragged into what amounted to revised Nazism through the allure of Reformed theology because it was very intellectual oriented. It was repackaged with big words and philosophical meaning, and they left the label Nazi out of it. And it sounded right, and it was based on IQ and sociology and science and a blending with theology. It turns out it was just glorified Nazism. And the guy was like, thanks to my pastor in my church, I realized what I'd gotten into. I was turning into a white supremacist and elevating the voice as a white supremacist. And there is a thing, particularly in Reformed congregations, young men are embracing Nazism that is repackaged as some amalgamation of Christianity. And it's a way for them to feel superior over others. In the same way as there are those coming into churches sowing the seeds of neo-Nazism under other names, there are those coming into the conservative movement casting doubts on real expertise. I want you to understand that you can go stay at a Holiday Inn Express tonight and you will still not be able to perform brain surgery tomorrow. There are unique skills and expertise. You can watch every Hillsdale College video you want and all the stuff on YouTube, and you're never going to be as good as a skilled, highly trained economist actually steering through the economic data to figure out what's going on. You can watch your psychobabble on essential oils and still not really be a medical doctor. Sometimes there are skills and sometimes there are expertise. And because during COVID, the government and the media elevated people who really weren't experts, and frankly, some of what they did is they elevated people who were experts in certain areas, but they extrapolated too much and they didn't have the humility to say, I'm extrapolating. This virus is new. We've never seen it before, and here's my best guess based on my expertise. No, they didn't want to say they were guessing based on their expertise. They just pontificated as if they were experts. And a lot of people got really mad about it because a lot of these guys led people astray and made bad decisions. Shutting down schools. You know, I was willing to go along with a lot of the experts at first, including on masking at first. But the idea that we needed to shut down schools was something that even I, a non-expert, could look at and see, oh, this virus doesn't affect kids. There was no reason to shut down schools. I was very early adopter in the idea that shutting down schools was stupid. And yet, we had the experts and the teachers' unions insist. And now the experts and teachers are like, we never said such a thing. Yes, you did. You said it live on TV for all of us to see. But there are malcontented people who are using that breach of trust to undermine other things, including, for example, pharmaceutical industry. Listen, there are all sorts of people. RFK is out there. There are people I follow on social media out there, and they're like, we just have to change people's lifestyles and get people to eat better and blah, 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 blah. But doctors want to give you a pill. Big pharma is bad. No, you know what's actually going on? If you want the God's honest truth from someone who's working to lose weight right now, let me tell you the God's honest truth. The reason the doctors are giving people the pills and the shots is because the people don't actually want to put in the work to lose weight. It's far easier for the doctor to say, take the pill, than tell them to lose weight. I'm busting my butt losing weight, having to restrict what I eat. It sucks. And yet, there are lots of people who go to the doctor and they're like, I'd just rather take the pill. You've got high cholesterol. Well, give me the pill. You got high blood pressure. Give me the pill. And you've got these people out there who want to undermine traditional Western medicine, saying doctors and pharmaceutical companies are just conspiring to give people pills. No, they're not conspiring to give people pills. They're giving you pills because they told you to lose the weight and you didn't want to do it. And now you're like, oh, they conspired against me. No, you're lazy. That's the problem. But your doctor's not going to tell you you're lazy. You're going to go find a new doctor. And so we get this stigma approach attached to pharmaceutical companies when, in fact, the pharmaceutical companies are saving people's lives. You know, one of the great conspiracy theories out there is they know how to cure cancer, but they are blocking it because they don't want to cure cancer. They'd lose their money. Oh, it sounds so clever, you idiot. And I need you to understand this. If you believe pharmaceutical companies know how to cure cancer, but are refusing to give us the cure so that they can make money, you are an idiot. You are 30 feet over a runway, and the plane's about to call you the R word. A group of 97 patients had long-standing multiple myeloma, a common blood cancer that doctors consider incurable, and they faced a certain and extremely painful death within a year. They had gone through a series of treatments, each of which controlled their disease for a while, but then it came back, and as it always does, they reached the stage where they had no more options and were facing hospice. They all got immunotherapy in a study that was a last-ditch effort. A third responded so well, they got what seemed to be an astonishing reprieve. The immunotherapy, developed by Legend Biotech, a company founded in China, seems to have made their cancer disappear. And after 5 years, It still has not returned in those patients, a result never before seen in this disease. These results in patients whose situation had seemed hopeless had led some battle-worn American oncologists to dare to say the words potential cure. In my 30 years in oncology, we haven't talked about curing myeloma, said Dr. Norman Sharpless, a former director of the National Cancer Institute, who's now a professor of cancer policy and innovation at the University of North Carolina School of Medicine. This is the first time we're really talking seriously about cure in one of the worst malignancies imaginable. The new study, reported Tuesday at the annual conference of the American Society of Clinical Oncology and published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, was funded by Johnson & Johnson. The 36,000 Americans who develop multiple myeloma each year face an illness that eats away at bones, so it looks as though holes have been punched out in them, said Carl June of the University of Pennsylvania. Bones collapse. Dr. June has seen patients who lost 6 inches in height. It's a horrible, horrible death, Dr. June said. Right now, advanced myeloma is a death sentence. There have been treatment advances that increase median survival from 2 years to 10 years over the past 2 decades, but there have been no cures. The Legend immunotherapy is a type known as CART. It's delivered as an infusion of the patient's own white blood cells that have been removed and engineered to attack the cancer. The treatment has revolutionized prospects for patients with other types of blood cancer like leukemia. Making CART cells, though, is an art with so many possible variables that it can be hard to hit one that works, and it can have severe side effects. But Legend managed to develop one that works in multiple myeloma, defying skeptics. This new study studies patients at the end of the line. Their immune system is wiped out. There are no more treatments available. The biology of these patients is so heavily pretreated and worn out that these CART cells shouldn't even be able to work because they don't have much of an immune system left. And CART's designed to spur their immune system. And what's happened is a third of the patients, it worked so well, 5 years later, there's no sign they even have cancer. Please stop telling me pharmaceutical companies are bad. There are problems. They're not perfect. There are insurance problems. There are problems with pharmaceutical companies. But the idea that they know the magic secret to cure cancer, they haven't told us, is garbage. It's a conspiracy theory by people who should know better. Here, a pharmaceutical company has come up with a life-saving treatment that for a cancer that has heretofore been thought incurable and always fatal. A third of the patients who were at death's door, out of treatment options, now are cancer-free and have been for 5 years. Instead of vilifying modern science and medicine and the pharmaceutical companies that research it, fund it, and produce the medicines for it, we should be giving these people awards. Please stop with the conspiracy nonsense just because you have had a bad experience or you saw some YouTube video about someone else. These people are finding cures for cancer and other diseases with medicines that will save lives, and they should be praised, not vilified, by researchers, by citizens, and by government policymakers. Now, let me tell you about Americans for Prosperity, advancing common sense conservative solutions around the country and fighting for President Trump's tax cuts. They're putting out a $400 million ad campaign to get Republicans engaged to help advance the president's tax cuts. They would love to have you involved. What you do is go to americansforprosperity.org today or go to protectprosperity.com. Protectprosperity.com is the website set up by Americans for Prosperity. They'd love to have you engaged with them fighting for the president's tax cuts. They'd love to get you engaged, calling your member of Congress and your senators, telling them to support the tax cuts, and they advance common sense conservative solutions around the country. From the state house to the local government, Americans for Prosperity believes in common sense conservative reforms that benefit families and small businesses, that benefit kids with things like school choice and so much more. Right now, it's all about the tax cuts. They're fighting to help the president get them passed. They'd love to have you on board the fight. Go to americansforprosperity.org to find out more, or better yet, go to protectprosperity.com today. If you go to protectprosperity.com, they make it very easy for you to connect with your senators and tell them to get a move on with the big, beautiful bill. Protectprosperity.com, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
252 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Looks like a new crash in DeKalb County, 20 eastbound past Flat Shoals Road, exit 62. I think a couple of right lanes are blocked. We're going to spin the jam cam, but already jammed up there. Stall in the center lane. Heroes with it now, heading to the airport, 85 southbound past Cleveland Avenue, exit 76. You're slow out of downtown. And still slow, 285 south, the interloop in DeKalb between Tucker and Clarkston. Traffic brought to you by Extreme Experience. Give Dad the ultimate driving experience in a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Porsche on a real racetrack. Extreme Experience. It's Atlanta Motorsports Park, July 10th through 13th. Save 25% for Father's Day. ExtremeExperience.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Listening to 95.5 WSB pays.
No way!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
That is awesome.
5 chances a day to win $5,000.
Download the WSB app. Your next chance to win is coming up at 5 p.m.
Oh my God.
From 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shelley Winter here. Man, I'm telling you, I don't want to use a CPAP machine. You know why? Because I can't roll over and kiss AMAC the lawyer in the middle of the night. I know there's an alternative, and it comes from PalmettoSleep.com. They have oral appliance therapy. It's a great alternative to that bulky CPAP. You don't like that. Imagine holding your breath for 30 to 40 seconds. Go ahead. I'll wait. Yeah, no problem. You don't have to spend the night in a sleep lab. None of that happens with Palmetto Sleep. They can arrange for an in-home sleep test from the comfort of your own bed. And it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Go to PalmettoSleep.com. They have made the process super duper simple with virtual appointments and take-home sleep tests if needed. They handle absolutely everything. So if you've already been diagnosed, go to PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market. Now, auto loan rates are as low as 3.99 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal opportunity lender.
When it rains, it pours right into your crawl space, and that creates that musty smell and dangerous mold growth under your house. Meteorologist Christina Epwords here for American Crawl Space Solutions. Make the smell and the water go away and stop the water from coming back. Call American Crawl Space Solutions. They're experts at keeping your crawl space dry and preventing the mold from growing in your home. Give them a call today.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a Phone on Us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Glad to have you guys with me today. Looks like the Ron Johnson, this is breaking right now. Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, saying that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is immoral and grotesque, and he will not vote for it unless there are major changes. Johnson and Rand Paul together are 2 of the 3 votes in the Senate. You know, there's a 3-vote majority in the House, 3-vote majority in the Senate. They can lose 1 more senator, and J.D. Vance can break the tie on this bill. But a lot of people had thought that Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, was just using this as leverage. But Johnson is now very adamant that this is all about the legislation itself, and he has no desire to support the legislation. So that hurts the bill to a sense that, I mean, you can only lose 2 more votes in the Senate, and then it can't get through there. Now, one of the big contentions with the senators is the SALT, state and local tax deduction. But Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma, who has great relationships with Trump. I really like that guy, by the way. He's got great relationships with the House guys as well. He's telling senators, if you change the SALT deduction at all, you can't get the bill through the House. Everybody wants a bill. Even Ron Johnson wants a bill, but you got the budget hawks out there, and you got the guys who want to give Trump what he wants, and you got the blue state guys. So this is getting to be very messy in the Senate to get this through by July 4th. I'll give you an update tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I don't know if you've noticed, but airlines are offering more and more sales. Just a week ago, United was offering crazy low fares.